Running free.
Thanks, Crimson.
All right.
Crimson, please don't do that ever again. Please.
Never. I'm not gonna.
So
promise
welcome everyone to the first episode of this absolutely garbage venture in our lives, the BBT, the Black British Television. Sorry,
Bruh.
Big Brain Takes. Welcome to the Big Brain Takes podcast, and I am your host for this episode, the legendary Sam Stardust Nobody, and I'm just going to be introducing you to all these stupid clowns today, and I hope you enjoy it and not end up wanting to kill yourself by the end of the episode. That would be a plus in my book. So we're going to start with the guy on the top left, the guy with the Alan Walker profile picture, Michael. Hi, guy. Introduce yourself to the boys. Michael, what's up?
Hello. My name's Michael. I do things sometimes. I helped make the banner and stuff on the channel. That's
Man,
about
looking
it.
for that free credit, bro. He's looking for that free credit. Okay,
Free
then we have the
credit.
guy.
Pay me for stuff. I'll do things.
Yeah, we're done with you. Shut up. We then have Forte, D Hero Forte, Joshua. What's up, Joshua? What's up, Forte?
Yes, sir. Well, it's a wonderful time to be on this podcast. I'm glad to have started it with you guys. It's going to be a lot of fun.
Man, you're being way too nice.
Listeners. Yeah.
Thank you for being very superficially kind to us.
Man, stop eating out your mic.
It's
You're
not
gonna
even
give
like
the
that.
viewers.
It's not even like that.
That's my job.
Then we have
Well, yeah.
Let me finish.
man.
But yeah, basically to end my introduction, I think I can speak for all of us. Love anime, love games. That's a lot of what we're going to be talking about on this podcast.
Anime's trash.
Hope you guys enjoy.
Fuck anime for real. Anime's trash.
Hey, you're not wrong, man. But I love trash. So that's what's up.
Then
This
we
is actually
have
called Big Brain Trash.
we have Matt, aka Gengar. What's up, Matt? Gengar Anonymous on Twitter. What's up, Matt?
Just your average weeb. Pretty much just gonna be a background character here. Just don't worry about it.
Fair enough. Then we have in the bottom right corner, we have Crimson, UZX Crimson Avenger, Benjamin. What's up, Benny? What's up?
Well, thank you. What's good, y'all? This is UCS Chris Vich here, and I'm here with the fellas over here trying to get this podcast done. We're gonna talk about a lot of things.
Crimson's trying to sound gangster right now, bro. He's trying to sound like you're from the hood. Crimson's trying to sound like he's from the hood, bro. He's trying to sound like he's from the hood. He's trying to sound like a
He
Boondocks.
changed how he talks completely.
He really did. I was like, damn, quit, bro.
Hey, that's how I usually talk with them in my videos every now and then.
You're right. And then we have in the middle, we have Phantom Yuto. What's up, Yuto?
What's up? I'm glad to be here. Very cool.
Are you
Very
actually,
cool.
though? Are you actually glad to be here?
Yeah, I'm definitely glad to be here, bro. There's definitely not a gun pointed to my head. Don't worry about it.
Also, I realized I'm a professional podcaster and Phil had like a cursor on screen for the beginning of this, so it's gone now. Very cool. Very cool, Kanye. And then you have again me. I'm the guy with the Edgeworth profile picture because right now I'm kind of into an Ace Attorney mood because I finished the first game yesterday. Good shit, by the way. Good shit. But yes, welcome to Big Brain Takes. Welcome to our garbage podcast that will probably implode in itself in the next month, but we're going to keep this going strong. First episode, we don't really have any game plan, but we're just going to talk shit, and hopefully someone here has a conversation starter so we can just go on. I'm going to choose...
No game plan? That's always good here, right?
Stick to the game plan,
My favorite kind of
Penbuster!
plan is the plan doesn't have a plan.
I can hear Michael moving around like a little otter in the background. You need to stop moving around that mic, bro.
Bite me.
No.
Oh,
Better.
So,
All right.
who has a
There we go.
conversation starter? If not, I'll think of something from my magical hat of assery.
How
I guess
the name of the
Um,
podcast is actually
so,
alike because we're all quite small-brained.
What's the latest anime everyone's watched here since we're all weebs?
Okay.
I watched season 1 of The Melancholy of Haruhi Suzumiya. I watched that with Ben over here.
Oh yeah,
That was a
Yes,
trip.
sir.
That was a trip.
yeah. I started watching around my time back in high school. Most likely during my freshman year.
Haruhi's
Well, I
watch order
recently
is too confusing
finished
for some.
Sinbad. Sinbad was great. I recommend it. Very good.
Yeah, let's see. I think the most recent thing I've actually watched, I know we've been watching it kind of together but separately, was Legend of the Galactic Heroes.
Yo, Legend of the Galactic Heroes.
But one thing I've
Only way you
watched,
can
I
say
don't
it.
think anyone in here has watched, is I actually watched Weathering with You recently, and it was solid.
Yeah.
If any of you guys have seen Your Name, it kind of it's very similar, which makes sense considering its production. But I don't think it quite rose to the same level, but I did get the same kind of feels. It was good feel. Very good movie. Glad I finally got around to watching it.
So it's a
I
4 out
remember
of
when
10.
I remember when I could go out and see movies.
I remember when I watched movies. But yeah, it's a solid movie. How are you guys? How are you enjoying Haruhi, Sam? How's that? I remember that was a whole culture in of itself. All these people at cons doing that dance.
Yeah, oh my goodness.
Yeah, I forgot what the dance was called. I just know it was one of the first ending, I guess.
Yeah, they people just call it the Haruhi dance or
The
so far so
Haruhi
far.
dance. Yeah.
So how am I
how are you
enjoying
feeling
Haruhi?
about it? Yes. How you
Solid
liking it?
show. I'm watching it in dub. I'm liking the dub quite a bit. Crispin Freeman
Yes,
as
sir.
Kyon is good shit. Johnny Young Bosch as Koizumi is good shit. All in all, I'll admit I'm not totally in love with it, but I do like it a lot. But I love Kyon. I love that character. That character is a mood. I
Yeah,
went going
I
in with
figured you'd like
this
him.
because I heard on one of the Anime Man Joey's videos, someone made a comment about Haruhi Suzumiya and not enjoying it because of Haruhi herself. And he made a fair point that I went into the show with the mindset of is that the draw of the show isn't Haruhi herself. The draw of the show is Kyon. The protagonist Kyon and everything about him. Funny enough, we never learn the guy's real name. We never really learn his actual name, and that's funny as shit. But
Yeah.
Kyon is a really cool protagonist who is an absolute mood. I love him. Really good character. Excited for season 2. Heard great things about the movie. Even if the watch order is absolutely stupid and whoever invented this stuff was smoking more coke than a dead rapper.
No, you don't. The fuck? No, you don't.
Bro.
It was meant to be really confusing, and if you don't get it, then you're stupid.
Yes.
What I will say about Melancholy is I don't know why I called him Melancholy. I'll say Haruhi. What I do agree with you about Haruhi is the watch order. I felt the same way about Haruhi as you do. Haruhi, I won't spoil in case people watching or anyone in the chat is like, yo, I'm gonna check out Haruhi. But Haruhi herself is really like a plot device almost. She's just there to help tell the story. I feel like it's really about Kion's perspective to everything that's happening. And
Absolutely.
as a character, I just think he's absolutely fantastic.
I love
And
how he
as
said.
you,
Sorry, I love how he said chat, but like this is pre-recorded because Sam screwed up on setting up the channel.
Fair
but
enough.
people are still gonna watch. And I
Yeah.
wanna
So
Yeah,
spoil
we're
people
gonna
still
be
gonna watch
premiering
it, like
this.
people in the
Yeah.
comments.
Yeah,
So
comments
chat,
we're going to be
comments don't
premiering this
really
live,
matter.
so
Yeah.
shut up,
One
Michael.
comment.
Michael, it's better than none. It's better than none.
It's better than nothing. And I might as well get in the habit of it since this is just a outlier for our episodes anyway.
So yeah, shut up, Michael. Stop being anal.
But yeah, basically, so where was I? Yeah, I think Kyon is a joy to watch, and just everything you're going to experience in Haruhi is going to prepare you for the movie, which I think is pretty top tier.
I've heard
I
great
think
things
it
about the
lived up
movie.
to the hype. So I'm glad you're enjoying it.
I'm enjoying it for what it is.
Yeah,
Also,
exactly.
I don't know how popular of an opinion this is, but Mikuru's best girl. I'll fight anyone on that. Mikuru is.
I mean, I don't know any other people that like Mikuru, but I'm pretty sure there probably be like a fan base who really do like her, or if not love her.
Josh, who's your girl in Haruhi? Is it Nagato? Is it Haruhi? Is it?
I really do like Nagato quite a bit, and
Yeah.
I like her a lot more later, but I can't tell you things obviously.
I do like
but
Nagato.
I was kind of an outlier. I really did. I think it may have been the phase I was in, but I kind of really did like Haruhi quite a bit.
Mom.
Yeah, it may have been the phase, but I just liked how super energetic she was, and yeah, she was super bratty, but
Okay,
in
so
a
you were a
way,
normie.
yeah, I guess so. In a way, her like kind of bratty personality in the show was kind of waifu material. I felt like in Haruhi, I liked her quite a bit.
Fair enough.
But
one thing I
later
wanna-
on,
okay.
Nagato became much higher up on my list.
Mikuru
yeah.
is my girl. She's so cute. She's so stupid. She's so thick.
Say one thing I want to mention regarding Nagato. Like earlier on when me and Sam was watching the show together, like I keep saying book. And Sam, he asked me, "Why keep you saying book?" I was like, "You'll see eventually." And there's this one scene where she actually says the line that I was looking for. It's like, "Hey,
Book.
and it didn't take long for Sam to follow along.
It's a funny scene. I like Nagato. Nagato's pretty cool. My favorite characters are easily
I
Kyon
love
and
her.
Koizumi. I like Koizumi.
Yeah, go ahead.
I'll admit with Koizumi, it's kind of my Johnny Young Bosch bias because I'm kind of a simp for that man.
Mhm.
But
I
do like
I really
Koizumi.
like Koizumi's character. I just liked his whole demeanor and kind of personality, but of course I would. You guys know my taste.
Hey, yo, I know your taste, brother.
But I know you'll like certain characters a lot more once you reach the end of the series. I think characters may move around for you, which will be pretty interesting to see.
Fair enough.
But I think Keon will probably still be your favorite. He was my favorite
Yeah.
throughout the whole thing. I mean, it's hard to not like the guy. I mean, he's
Like,
our protagonist, and he's
It's obvious he was made to relate to us.
He's made to be
He's
liked.
such a mood. Like any reaction he has to any situation in Haruhi, what I love is what a normal person's reaction would
Yeah,
be. I
and that's
feel
the whole point. They try and hammer in
Exactly.
that he's normal without
Yeah.
making him a bitch. Like,
Exactly.
an example for someone be like Makoto Naegi from Danganronpa, that's the first thing that comes to mind, is that they constantly hammer into your head that this guy's normal, but then they also try and just make him a bitch at points, and it's like, I don't hate the guy, but it's like, nowhere near as good as Kyon. He's nowhere near as good as Kyon.
Yeah, no. They just made him such a
Danganronpa.
very realistic and relatable protagonist, and I enjoyed that quite a bit.
Fair enough. So who's going to be next on the anime watching question?
Anyone can just jump in.
I mean,
I'll do Matt. Matt was the one who brought up the question. I just saw him on mute. So
okay, I mean, I guess I haven't gone yet. Like, the one I've been watching recently is Durarara, which, so far, Izai's been such a goat.
Ayo.
Isaiah.
What- When he told Seiji to get cucked, so good.
That was hilarious, bro. Forte.
Hey,
Joshua.
everyone, wait. Seiji's everyone's favorite character in Durara, right? Right? You
I
agree
know
on
for a
this?
fact. I know the characters Josh likes. Josh would love Izaya. He would love Izaya.
Yeah. Yeah, I've had you guys mention that. I definitely want to check out Durarara. Did I
Yeah.
say the right number of Ra's?
Durarara.
Da-da-da-da-da-da-da.
Bo. No,
Bo
but,
bo 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 bo. Fucking
I've heard
Bobo.
good things about Durarara, and I do want to check it out. And
Watch
it's in the
it.
same universe as Baccano, is that
Yes.
correct? Okay,
Oh,
another one that I want to
did
check
not-
out. So, yeah.
Bacano characters actually make a cameo in one of the episodes.
Oh, that kind of, not to
When
segue
does
too much.
Baccano take place?
40s, I'm pretty sure. 30s or 40s?
Yeah,
Double
yeah.
meat.
Yeah, it's like in 30s, 40 era. I should also mention this with Weathering with You and Your Name. Funny enough,
They're the same
they
universe, right?
also yes, they're in the same universe, but they're parallel universes is the interpretation I understand, which makes sense because I can't spoil things, but something happens in Weathering with You that does not happen at the end of Your Name that you're like, okay, so these are two separate universes. It's the only way that would make sense. At least
Fair
that's
enough.
my understanding. So, but I saw a few cameos in Weathering with You that were in Your Name, and I didn't know beforehand. I was like, oh, that's really interesting. It's really cool.
That's really cool.
So I do like it when animes do like what Durarara and Baccano, I probably butchered that, and Your Name and Weathering with You do when they're in similar universes or at least parallel universes.
Burn the Witch
they
and
make those
Bleach is another
cameos.
one that comes to mind. That's another one in the
Right.
same universe.
And that's one we watched recently. Good old
yeah,
Burn, the Witch.
We need to talk about Burn the Witch.
I think so. That's perfect segue.
So, any last thoughts on Durara, Matt? Just loving it, loving Izaya, loving it.
Oh yeah, just pure loving it. The cast just zany as fuck, and it's great.
Yep. You're watching it too, right, Michael?
Yeah.
You enjoying
I'm a
it?
bit I'm a bit behind you guys. 'Cause I'm watching it by myself on my own time, but yeah.
Oh wait, what episode are you on?
He's episode 9, I think.
Episode 9, yeah.
We're only in episode
Oh.
12, so you can catch up really quickly.
I can probably catch up.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
I will say I'm not loving the dub as much as the sub, but I mean, some are great. Some voices I don't like, obviously, but most of them are pretty
We're watching
Before
it.
we leave Durarara, how many episodes is it? It's like
60 something for
Okay.
60 something, but the first season is by far the best. Season 1 like stomps.
For season 1 is like 24 episodes,
And then the
and
rest
like
are
the other
12.
seasons are like 12 to 13. If
Yes.
I remember.
Interesting. Yeah. I'll keep it on the never-ending watch list, of course.
I just want Josh to meet
Story.
Izaya because I know he'll love Izaya. I just want him to meet Izaya because
Yeah, no, Forte will like Izai. Yeah. I mean, when I watched it first, and you were like watching Durarara. I'm like, okay. I asked, okay, Sam will probably like Izai the most.
Izaya's pretty much the reason I started watching the show because Sam showed me the clips of him. It was so hilarious.
We were just talking about anime antagonists, and I'm like, Izaya, and I'm like, that man is such a goat. I want someone to talk to him about. And I'm like, hey, yo, fuck it. Matt, you want to watch some Durarara, bro? And he's like, hey, yo, sure. And then we watch him, we're like, hey, yo, Izaya, a goat. Johnny Young Bosch, a goat.
I forgot how much Shizu is not really that relevant in first season.
Yeah,
that
she's
much.
not that relevant in first season.
Yeah, then I'm like, oh damn, I really forgot about that. I really like him in the later seasons a lot.
I love
But,
Shizuo, but he's not as relevant in season 1 as he is later.
Yeah, I didn't realize that. But I do like probably for season 1, the Van Crew is probably my favorite characters.
The Van Crew are
definitely.
hilarious, bro. Those guys
We
are
are the
hilarious.
dollars.
And one of those voiced by Yuichi Nakamura. So
I love how they take the piss and take the piss out of them and say, "There's one of them in like every city."
I think Seiji and that girl, yeah, best couple, very wholesome. You
Seiji
guys
and
agree,
his
right?
sister, bro. That's best couple. That's
You're right.
best couple. So
Forte would probably like that a lot since he's
Alabama, bro.
Yeah, I know.
Oh,
But-
you guys know Doctor like that? No, that's funny.
On Burn the
anyone who's
Witch.
listening to this can probably hear him. So they
So
know
let's
I'm
get-
from the south.
Let's get to that Burn the Witch. Let's all
Let's
talk
do it.
about our pulls on Bleach Brave Souls. These guys were
Oh,
there.
don't
Bleach
know
Brave
that.
Souls, if anyone doesn't know, is the Bleach themed gacha game. It's pretty fun, but it can also be
I
very
wish we
relentless.
recorded your reaction.
It would have been funny, bro. When I pulled, and so in my 10 multis, I pulled 2 Ninis and a Noel. And, no, I pulled 3 Ninis and a Noel. And I was losing my shit. And then on my 15th multi, I pulled another Noel. So I'm leaving this banner with 2 Noels, 3 Ninis, and I had some move sources to make them 5 out of 5.
He left the room, yelled "Pen best deck," came back like 5 minutes later wearing a Pikachu onesie and did it again.
And then pulled out my Zanpakuto. Toe. And then was like, yeah, Predbus Jet! While screaming
That sounds about
profanities
right.
everywhere.
That sounds about right.
He lost his voice afterwards.
Oh, I did.
Hey, we've all had those gotcha pools. They're just insane. I know we've all at least had one in whatever game we played.
So,
Ah, it's crazy.
back to Burn the Witch. What did we all think of Burn the Witch? Overall, as the OVA, manga, whatever. Let's talk
It's
about
alright.
It's alright.
Oh yeah,
I
just
enjoyed it for what it offered.
It was alright for what it was. I like Noelle and Nini a lot.
I don't
Really cool
like the ending fight like at all, but
Neither do I.
Yeah. I think we all had we had some differences about the ending fight.
No, like,
just to start off,
I agreed with like most everything Sam said. It's just like just agreed when he said the word joke. I'm like, I won't go far to say a joke, but yeah, I could definitely do better.
There are
Yeah,
just
I
better
can
ways to end your
understand that.
first fight, especially when it was so climactic and heatful, and the animation was actually pretty good. The action was actually pretty good. The dragon
Yeah.
looked really, really sick. And then just
Yeah,
boof,
exactly.
and then walk off.
it's the epitome of God damn it, Kubo.
Yeah.
No, I
what
wouldn't blame. Like I said, I don't blame the Burn the Witch because they honestly wanted to end it. Like I said, it was one of the 7 legends of the dragons, and obviously they couldn't beat it. So Kubo kind of forced himself in a bubble. So I think he just made one of the stronger characters take it down.
So yeah, it's
But at
another
this point-
example of goddammit Kubo, where he makes something so
Yeah.
powerful that it can only be beaten by a random Deus Ex Machina.
Ah
one
shit,
shot.
man.
Uh,
I
But even then, I
brings
think it was
bad
just
memories.
one shot
Oh,
that
shit,
didn't
man,
have
I
any
can't
further.
believe-
That's how Kubo, I love my boy Kubo. I love Bleach, but that's how Kubo beats all his major villains. Ichigo beats
Right.
Byakuya
Deus
by
Ex
getting
Machina.
Ichigo beats
We
Byakuya by
had
getting
this
his Deus Ex
discussion
Machina
about the
Bankai.
last-
Ichigo
We had this
beats
discussion about
yeah.
the last fight. There was a way to take down the dragon without the stronger character necessarily one-shotting it. All you had
Yeah.
to do was bring in the stronger character, do the same thing he did, but not kill it. Just wound it enough or knock one, what should I say, knock it out enough.
He
that,
headshot
Noelle
him across
Nini-
the goddamn map.
Yeah.
You could
I
have had
mean-
it be that he makes a shot, it's a bit vulnerable now, and then Noelle and Nini make the final kill.
Exactly. All you
That
had
would
to
have been
do
a
was
little
make him OP enough to weaken it enough that they could get the final kill, and that's just kind of what my problem with it
I
was.
agree.
Now, it didn't ruin the series for me. I
No.
think the series, even up to that point, was still like a 7-5 for me, and whether that fight went either way, it wasn't gonna go up.
Where
or
did the
down
sword
too
come
much.
from?
Who knows?
Just-
Ball goes
No,
trash.
that's just
Who
foreshadowing.
knows?
At this point, I'm not grading it too harshly. I gave it around the 7 because I'm gonna see where it goes since they announced the season 2. So I'm just gonna see it obviously seems like
And that's if that season
where-
2 actually gets animated. That's another thing that I was upset about because I am not of the faith that season 2 is going to get animated. I don't think it will. I hope it does, but I don't think it's going to.
Yeah,
Like they
it wasn't
they did
super
every single
highly
chapter of
received,
like
was
the
it?
original short season 1 run, so it's like
How received was Burn the Witch? Did everyone feel about the same we did, or did they think it was?
I haven't seen a
worse?
lot of opinions, but I've heard it's
Yeah.
relatively positive. I think we're all relatively positive. I think the strong
Yeah.
points of this are Noelle and Nini. Noelle and Nini,
Oh yeah,
great characters. Nini,
whoever the guy
Right.
is.
I love Noelle, love Nini. Great dynamic, great powers, great designs. Whew. Really cool characters.
yes,
It's just
sir.
everything else around them really struggles. And I think the problem with Burn the Witch is a problem that Bleach kind of had, but I think Bleach handled a lot better because of its tone and setting. I think it has a really big issue with tonal awareness. There are scenes.
Oh yeah.
it has-
Oh my no.
It tries to turn serious scenes into jokes and have random one-liners from stupid characters like Bulgo come and interrupt genuinely important action scenes or genuinely emotional moments, and it loses all the fire and impact of those scenes when you have a random simp ass come from the side and make some comment about wanting to see the girl's panties halfway through a scene where they're about to fight some big dragon. It loses a lot of oomph. In
What I
general, I
will
think the
say
comedy didn't
about
hit for
Burn
me.
the Witches, and I don't want to offend anyone in here or anyone that may potentially watch this, is a lot of what I felt about Burn the Witch, I ended up feeling about Fairy Tail. And what I mean by that is
Nah,
Fairy
man,
Tail has
going on Fairy Tail. No restraint.
Yeah. Okay. Well, all right. So I don't have to worry about offending anyone in here. But what I will say is Fairy Tail had some really cool moments. I remember watching up to season 3, and I'm like, this is pretty good. This is solid. The problem is it would have these really cool moments, and then it would always remind you that, oh, did we forget to mention that Lucy has really big, like, knockers? I'm like,
Oh my god, that
we didn't mention this, like,
I want to die every time I see that. Like,
yeah, and it
she's
just
not a
ruined
character.
lot of-
She's a sex object. It's legit all she is. She has no. All she is something for the readers or viewers to goggle at while she does absolutely nothing.
I'm okay
And
with
Now,
that.
see,
Lucy
here's-
hot as shit.
begrudgingly
Here's
gets
the thing.
nakeder as the series goes on.
Now, here's the thing, Michael. I actually kind of agree, but I don't. I actually think Lucy is a pretty strong character in Fairy Tail, but she's objectified so much, and I'm not saying Twitter objectified. I'm saying, like, it ruins the
Actual
story.
like
Objectified.
girls naked like every arc.
Exactly. So, you have these serious moments and these climactic action scenes, and it just gets ruined because I'm immersed in this action scene. I want to see the value of this fight, and then you constantly, all out of nowhere, just shove this in my face. And
It's
I'm
what
like,
many
okay.
people I've heard, and that's one of the
It
issues I
ruins
had.
my immersion. Is the
But no,
problem.
but it's the thing, like,
Yeah.
she has not. Okay, I've gone through this. She has like one fight that she won herself under about. Everything else she either loses or gets Deus Exed out of.
Yeah.
She has no
think-
serious fight.
Yeah.
All these
I would
things.
disagree with that. Lucy had
It's been
some
a
serious
while.
fights.
Name
been a
one.
And
while.
also, even then as well, I think
Name one she
surprisingly,
actually
a
won.
Fairy Tale filler actually kind of helped her with her character, which is
Yeah,
kind
yeah,
of
Yeah,
strange.
but unfortunately, it's not canon. The anime had to go and fill in the holes the manga left.
Yep.
Yeah.
Even then, I'd still like it for
'Cause,
like
here-
the anime didn't have
Here's
to
the
do it.
really funny thing. Like, the Poison Dragons, like Eric, was that his name?
Yep.
Yeah, like there's an entire arc in the anime. It's anime only that explains how we got to where he was, that we just
Yeah.
don't know in the manga at all.
Is it a
I
good arc?
mean, I'm fine with it. I think the anime did well on that, just explaining it.
But it doesn't change the fact
But
that it's
what-
not canon. It's cool and all.
Yeah,
It's cool, but
it's
it doesn't
cool,
change
but
the
it's
fact it's
not
not
canon.
canon.
It's
Yeah.
it's.
But let me say
filler.
this: Fairy Tail Zero is flames. That was really good. I thought it was really
I
good.
called the plot twist when like ages before when I was reading it when I was like 14.
Yeah, they did pull the typical like. I guess I shouldn't say the name. I don't want to.
Like I said, the biggest issue with Fairy Tail is probably the biggest issue with power-ups and the power scaling and some of the edginess. But overall, I think most of the cast is still likable, and I think for the starting and throughout Fairy Tail, I think mostly is solid. You'll still enjoy some of the fights and etc. and the dynamics between characters.
It's like
It's obviously
cool shit.
not.
That's kind of all it is. It's just.
But
a
it's
lot of
all.
cool
It's
shit.
just something that it's a very nice shown to look at, but it's not something deep. I think it's
Very
for me
nice
personally,
look
I
at
don't
you,
think.
Dave.
I feel.
It's-
I'm not saying
you
it's
know-
like the best thing, but I think it's just definitely overrated. I think it's just fine for what it is.
You know, it's like SAO. You're not gonna treat it as like a masterpiece. Just like, okay, we're just gonna
Yeah, but then,
sit down.
but then you might who think it's like this big brain, like multi-layered thing. Like, no, it
I don't know
here
who
much.
they
Here
are.
much. She might just want to draw big titties. That's all. So you
I
go.
mean, all the power to him.
Great
Lucy's titties are pretty nice, bro. Lucy's titties
Yeah.
are pretty
Yeah.
nice. I
That's
don't
what
know.
I
That's
think
a
for
very
me,
nice novel.
I do like some of the Fairy Tale moments. Definitely the emotional moments.
Oh,
definitely
yeah.
did hit.
And that's what
Right
that's what the
over-
point started on. It started. That's what Forte's point. It has good moments, but they often of them will get interrupted by fan
Right.
service.
Yeah, but not almost. I think yeah. A lot of
There
a lot
are
of moments.
a few solid moments in Fairy Tail that actually aren't interrupted by
That
the
was an
fan
issue
service.
I actually had. That was an
But,
issue I had with Fire Force, and that's why I didn't continue with Fire Force, and why I've heard a lot of people didn't
Yeah.
continue with Fire Force. With Tamaki as a character, serious
my
scenes would be
goodness.
interrupted by her clothes randomly falling off. And
Oh
turning the
yeah,
serious
I've seen
scene into
clips
a
of
joke.
that.
You two had to
Yeah.
deal with me complaining about it every time we'd watch it, but I will say
Take a shot every
recently-
time she strips.
I will say recently, in the last episodes Yuto and I watched, actually she did something and her clothes didn't rip off. So
Oh my god.
Oh
I
my
know, right?
God.
Surprising, isn't it?
Audible
yeah,
gasp.
welcome to 2020. This is
Audible
this is
gasp.
but I do think Fire Force. I mean, it hasn't been on as long, but wasn't quite as bad as Fairy Tail so far. But give it time, I guess. I don't know. So
Fire
I
Force-
think
Yeah, go
so I think overall the complaints with anime that do this sort of thing isn't so much that it's like, oh, women on the screen. It's so much that you're just immersed in these climactic moments. You're in this serious tone, and then bam, your immersion is just broken by this. And it had no reason to be there. It was just really unnecessary. You've already hooked me. I'm here for the fight. You don't need to do this now. You should have hooked me on episode 1 with all this, and then let me see the fights, right?
I agree.
So that's just my feelings towards it, and I worry that Burn the Witch could follow a similar path, but obviously I hope not. I hope if we get a second season,
I think the difference is, though, is that they're not necessarily reducing Noelle and Nini to fan service. There are not very many scenes where Noelle and Nini. It's just the guy. It's just a stupid guy.
Joke. Yeah, like they're never.
It's dopey looking.
They're
They're
scantily clad like one time, and that was when they, ideally, they got ripped in fucking half by that dragon, and then they flew across the map, and like the scantily clad was like part of her shoulder fucking shirt ripped off.
Yeah, that wasn't bad. Yeah, that wasn't bad at all. That made sense.
And then there was the last scene at the end, which was understandable. It was meant to be a joke. I wish it was not an emotional scene, but the scene where we just saw her panties at the end. But
yeah,
my problem is him.
Dog.
His dog is adorable, though. I want to just say,
But that's his dog saying it.
Oh,
That's his
Sushi.
dog saying, I want to see your panties.
Oh,
not
Sushi.
him.
But it's because of him. But the only reason the
it's
dog
his
said it is
emotion.
because of the owner. That's the only reason the dog says it. He's copying
because
his
the
owner.
dragons feed off your emotions, and the
Yes.
dog is saying it because it's what not the main character, the
What
guy.
Even then, I mean, it's just, I think it's not, it's just more of both of them. But, I mean, like I said.
But it's not. That's what they
I'm
say. They say the dog is feeding off his
I'm really
emotions.
disappointed in the anime studio because, like I told you before, Sam, they actually changed that. It's
I've
like,
read that.
why?
But I will say it's not a deal breaker.
It's not a deal breaker.
bad.
I just
will say
don't
the
like that
first
character.
Time, it was kind of funny, but after the third or fourth, I was done with it. So
I like
I
Noelle
mean,
and
I'm pretty
Nini's
sure the
humor.
anime said it only two or three times.
That's two or three times too
oh,
many.
yeah. There was. I'm thinking of the one shot. He said
Yeah, the
it.
one shot was like once, and then
Once.
it's just
And it was
after, and then the
right.
final.
It was
one
funny that
like-
once
so
in the one
actually
shot,
Twice. It was
and
only twice.
But even then,
Yeah.
you shouldn't. It's not a joke that needs to be repeated like even more than once. It was funny for the first time, and now it's
Exactly,
lost.
yeah.
It's lost its.
If I say it enough, it'll become funnier and funnier as time
It's
goes
not
I
on.
funny
really
saying
get
the same
feeling
joke
they're going to
over
make
and
that a running gag.
They are absolutely are. Absolutely are.
Mhm.
And I don't like that. And I much prefer the humor when it's them not trying to be so funny. Like Noelle and Nini's facial expressions, especially Nini's. That's one thing I'll give the anime so much more. Nini's facial expressions are hilarious.
Girls
Nini-
are emotion.
Love her expressions.
Nini's expressions are why I'm in love with her. Her fucking oh my god, I like the one where she did the thing about it being dead. That was my profile picture for like a week. And then she
Yeah. The freaking like she does the cross across her neck,
Yep.
yeah, with her thumb.
it was funny
Yeah.
as shit. Funny as
yeah.
shit. Or the
I
scene
think
when
we agreed
Noelle
on this.
The scene where
Yeah, go
Noelle
ahead.
insulted that Bruno guy about his hair, that was genuinely funny. It's not
was.
funny seeing an absolute nobody clown character who are apparently meant to take seriously because they gave him a sad story in the one shot and then give him the sword and this because they clearly meant to take him to an extent seriously. It's not
Yeah, he's
funny
supposed to
or
be strong.
entertaining seeing this character just go all the time. Ooh, I want to see your panties. And if it's not him saying I want to see your panties, it's like the scene when he was flying over bloody reverse London with Noelle, and he's like, if I move my hands or arms a little bit up, I could feel your voluptuous breasts. And it's like, shut up. I
Is
want
he,
No.
he's kind of like
you cut out, Michael.
You cut out.
Roshi
Michael.
got like beat up right there. Oh, fuck. He's kind of pulling a Master Roshi, except every time Master Roshi tried that, he got the shit kicked out of him.
Think of it's
Right,
like I know Josh and I are both watching the Trash Taste podcast. It's exactly what Connor said about Meliodas. It's not funny
Yes.
when the joke
Oh, yeah.
is perversion itself. It's funny when you turn that into a joke. An example for me is like a character that a lot of people hate, Teru from Danganronpa. That is, I think, a good example for me for good perverted humor. It's not the perversion that's meant to be funny. It's not just him touching a girl and then everyone's meant to laugh. He touches the girl, tries to touch the girl, and makes a joke out of it. He makes genuinely funny one-liners. Like the first scene about Sonya. I have a poison in my... I have poison down there, and I need someone to suck it out. Yeah, it's dumb. Yeah, it's really stupid. Yeah, he's a shitty-ass guy for saying it, but at least it's turning perversion into a joke. Perversion itself isn't
at the very
joke.
least, in Tera's case, like every time he does do it, he suffers consequences.
And he suffers consequences, and it's one of those things where there's a difference between having perversion be the joke and turning something into a perverted joke. There are a very big difference. A perverted joke is still it's a joke, but turning perversion into the joke is just saying I can feel up on a girl and get laughed at. That's not funny. It's not funny just to see a guy squeeze a girl and go honka honka.
Like with Meliodas, it's just so blatant. And the same thing with the character in Burn the Witch. They just say it. They don't actually like kind of lead up to
They don't turn it into a joke or have him say some funny one-liner.
It's like they started the joke at the punchline. Exactly. There is no build-up whatsoever.
And that's a common theme in Burn the Witch. And that's my biggest problem with Burn the Witch. It's a common theme with it, is that those scenes come when they do not need to come. Those scenes take away from important scenes. And like the scene at the end was, as Matt said in the manga, was a genuinely emotional moment. And the anime chose to turn it into a piss take. And it's like, I don't agree with it being an emotional moment. I don't know why Noelle would ever confide in Bulgo of all people when she's bloody upset, or happy. I don't know what she really was. It was a weird scene, but
yeah, it was. I guess it's implied that they sort of have this relationship because they see each other every morning when she's on her way.
But
still, it was a reach for me. It was a reach. Their relationship is too attenuated for me to get these kind of emotions.
Exactly.
Yeah, so I do agree.
Like I kind of get that because like they're forced to fucking watch him. It's not like they want to be there.
Exactly.
But
yeah,
overall,
those are
Noelle
just
and
my
Nini are really
thoughts
solid.
on
I liked it
all
enough.
that in
I gave it
general.
a 6.5 to a 7. I'd say the anime was a 7. The one shot was like a 6. I wasn't a big fan of the one shot. But I think
we'll see what Kubo do when he comes back.
I like seeing the characters animated. I must admit, seeing Noelle and Nini animated made me care a lot more for them, especially with their expressive
they're gems. I think they're great.
They're great. Honest. They're great characters.
They're made the same ones you did, like the Twilight Wings, which is really nice.
Yeah, which is getting another episode, which is going to be really exciting.
Oh really?
November.
Yeah. We're getting an episode for the. We're getting an episode.
I thought it was over.
No, we're getting an episode for the Crown Tundra.
Oh, radical.
I think it's on the 5th of November, right?
Yes, 5th of November. 5th of November.
Yeah. I was very excited. I actually haven't seen any of the Twilight Wings yet. I've only seen clips, so it gives me time to
You should watch those.
It's to watch. I'd say do it.
They're really good. Really, 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 really sweet. The Wooloo episode. Oh, Wooloo. It's so cute.
Wooloo. Yeah, that's pretty cool.
Wooloo is kind of overrated.
Shut up.
I agree.
Shut up.
No, I agree. I agree with Matt. Overrated.
Gengar is
Shiny
overrated.
Wooloo is so cool looking. So wonderful.
It's just a black sheep though.
That's cool.
Yeah, I think it looks cool.
At the end of the day, Michael, Cyndaquil is just a slightly lighter rat.
What?
Shiny Cyndaquil is just a slightly shinier rat.
It is a mouse, and you shut your whole mouth.
It's a rat.
Cyndaquil's a mouse?
Isn't it a mouse?
Yeah, it's pretty sure.
I don't think it's a mouse.
I think Cyndaquil's a mouse which evolves into a badger.
Yeah. What type of badger? Is badger?
Cyndaquil, the baby with the snout.
Yes, I'm pretty sure it's meant to be a mouse. It's called the fire mouse. Its
like
species in the Pokedex is the fire mouse Pokemon. I'm pretty sure.
And also like the whole like Zodiac thing that they do for like
Weird.
Pokemon.
I'm pretty sure Cyndaquil's species is the fire mouse Pokemon.
Yeah, like Charmander is like Charmander's dragon?
No, he's the salamander.
Okay, salamander. Then there's like mouse. We also have cats. We have pig. We have
every animal in Pokemon.
We have
I'm
rooster.
pretty sure at this point.
Yeah.
We don't have a dolphin Pokemon, and that makes me extremely upset.
One day you get a dolphin Pokemon, Sam.
We
One day
don't
we get a
have
dolphin.
You guys didn't know Sam has a hard-on for dolphins.
Ayo.
Oh my.
No.
They say the Cyndaquil is based off of an echidna. Hey, excuse me?
Isn't it species named the fire mouse?
I honestly.
It is.
Yeah, it's species named.
Yeah, that's what's like epithet is the Pokedex.
But yeah, I like dolphins, and it makes me upset that we still don't have a dolphin Pokemon.
Us Pokemon fans have been eating good lately. I feel like we've gotten Gacha, we've gotten Twilight Wings. I've heard Journeys has been doing well.
It's for what it is, it's actually pretty alright.
It's more than
Yo,
pretty
that
alright.
music video was pretty. That music video was pretty fire
Let's
too.
talk
Like,
about Gotcha, bro. That
I
music
cannot.
video.
I watched it so
I
many
probably
times.
watched it. I probably watched it over 1,000 times.
I
at this
probably
point.
watched
It's
it
not
like
even-
500, 600 times, bro. That shit
Yeah,
is
I've got
perfect.
Yeah, same.
That shit is
it never
perfect.
Gets
Oh my
dull
god,
for
I just
me.
realized this. God damn it. God damn it, Josh.
What?
What happened?
He's probably pictures N from the actual
Yeah.
music video.
You didn't realize that?
Yeah, it is.
I thought it was just N.
No, it's N for the music video. We love
Oh,
that
yeah.
shot, bro. That shot with N and Hilbert.
That's my favorite part of the music video.
That's my favorite part,
the
bro.
eyes from Hilda going to N and then to Hilbert at the restroom room in Zekrom. Yeah, it's great.
I love that music.
I'm a huge
video.
N fan, so it makes sense it'd be my favorite.
I'm a
but-
massive N fan. Both.
Of course, yes,
N,
sir.
bro.
Gen 5.
Um,
Gen 5.
N's my second favorite Pokemon character. First favorite in the games. I love that guy to death. I love N so much.
Yes. Yeah,
Like,
it's fantastic.
My
like
favorite,
Pokemon,
by
like,
the
I know
way-
that animation. Huh?
I was just going to say my favorite to mention it since I said N was my second favorite. My favorite's Mewtwo from the first movie, specifically in
Yeah.
Japanese. Specifically in Japanese.
Yeah, I've said. Yeah, I know you love that shot from the music video too. You mentioned to me like you just screamed your head off for that one.
Yeah,
I screamed,
Serena and
man.
Greninja versus Mewtwo. Hype as
Hey,
heck.
yo. My favorite shot was the N and Zekrom shot though. The N and Zekrom and Reshiram and not Kyurem.
It was so great, and of course, obviously, the people who made the music video knew this, and that's why they did it. But the way it synced up with the song in that moment was perfect.
Yes.
It was
Studio
perfect.
Bones did good, bro. Bones, they
They
did good.
Bones
They
did
They fed us
good.
good, bro.
And Bump
They
of
fed us
Chicken,
good.
that song is a banger.
Bump
Like
of
I've
Chicken
listened
is
to
such a
the
good
full
band.
version
Acacia?
of the song, even
Acacia?
without the video, and it's great. It's
Yeah.
still
Oh, yeah,
great.
I
Acacia's a
agree,
great
I
song.
agree.
Acacia's an amazing
Oh yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I've said the thing with me and Pokemon is like I know most of you guys like you're really into the game aspect of Pokemon. Like I grew up from the anime, so like most things localized from the games I would not know because again I grew up watching the anime.
Right.
So like when it in the music video when it came to like the Sword and Shield, like I really felt that. I felt really close to the characters as I own keyword owned and played Sword and Shield as a whole. So that was my very first Pokemon game I ever owned and played. So when it got to that section of the video, and I saw the gym leaders, and then we got to Gloria and Hector. I'm assuming that's his name.
Is his name Hector?
That was just a beautiful shot, and I felt a little special there. regardless of what people think of Sword and Shield, like I really loved it that they added that.
I
Going
played
off
some more
Sword
Shield
and
yesterday.
I think it's a decent game, and I think Leon is actually a really, really cool champion.
I
didn't like him much at
I
first.
get hate for that because a lot of people don't like Leon, but I actually
I'm
enjoyed
gonna be
him
the
quite a
new
bit.
champion. Stealth rocks.
I didn't
He's
like
very
Leon much at first,
charismatic.
but he's grown on me. Leon has genuinely grown on me, and the anime
Yeah,
helped.
I think he's solid.
He's voiced by an
and I think he
absolute
has these really
goat.
funny quirks. So yeah,
In the anime, he's voiced by an absolute goat. In dub, he's voiced by Kagi, and Kagi's a goat. And
Oh, nice.
Yeah, Leon's Kagi.
film.
Yeah, Kagi's
Yeah.
Leon. That's why he's so.
That's
That's,
awesome.
that's why he always retweets Leon art. He's Kagi's Leon.
That makes sense. I just now made that connection. That's awesome. That's
And
really
in
cool.
sub, he's Daisuke Ono, the goat. Erwin,
Oh, that's really
Jotaro.
cool.
In the Twilight Wing sub, he's Takahiro Sakurai, Suzaku.
And going back to
Cloud.
Leon and your connection with Sword and Shield Crimson, when they get to I guess it's like the final scene, and Leon's hat and Red's hat are owned by the two protagonists, which are us, sort of. I really felt that scene. I thought that was a perfect, like,
Oh
way
yeah, that was so beautifully animated.
Gotcha
Yeah,
in
with
general
that,
was a masterpiece. Like 10 out of 10,
Yeah, I
Zenith
think
of the
it was
medium
perfect.
peak fiction.
Yeah.
That thing is absolute perfection and the absolute best love letter that this franchise has ever given.
Well, not according to that Twitter poll.
No, man, I did a Twitter poll.
Oh, that Twitter poll was
I
disgusting.
have not heard of this.
I did a Twitter poll to see what's your guys' thoughts on Gotcha. And there was like
God.
30% of people said, like, more than like, I think like 10 or 15 people said it was trash. And I'm like, what? What is
Sam,
wrong
let
with
me
you?
know, before I
I'm gonna
voted,
look- I'm gonna look at this.
Hey, yo,
I
can
was
someone
actually-
quickly check? I want
before
someone.
I voted, it was tied for like being bad or good, and I was like, okay, let me
Right.
fix this.
When I voted bad was winning. I had to vote
Someone-
Goat to tie it.
Someone show me a screenshot
Yeah.
of this so I can put it on screen for these guys right now. Show me, like, someone get me a screenshot of that for my Twitter.
So
So I can put it
Probably
on
got
screen real quick.
But yeah, it was crazy. So when Matt voted, it tied it up, and then when I voted, it actually became 60-40, I guess is what it ended up being. I don't know what it ended at.
Well,
but I
actually, it
saw
tied
that-
right after that again. It's like
For
Okay.
Goat, it's 67.7%. For solid 9.7%, meh 3.2%, trash 19.4%.
You
That's
said
bruh.
you said 9%.
Oof.
Oh, well, the scores actually became more stark. Like the difference, it actually became
Even
a
then,
lot
there should not
better
be
over
20%
time.
of people
Like
saying this was
I
trash.
can kind of get behind people saying like people were just being kind of meh on it, but saying it
No,
was trash.
no,
really?
I do not get how anyone can say this thing is meh. If you are a fan of Pokemon, I do not get how you cannot love this.
Yeah,
No,
thing.
to be
here's the
honest,
thing.
I
Like
don't-
even outside of Pokemon, I mean, because y'all 14. I'm sorry. Like I
No,
showed
you're
it to
good.
someone who I showed it to someone. Actually, no, not just someone. I showed this to like 3 people all in one go. This music video, and they're not really heavily into Pokemon, right? And then by the time, and they don't watch anime that heavily or don't listen to Japanese music, but they sat there and watched it. I saw the light in their eyes. They were so invested into this freaking music video. By the end of it, they just said that was really beautiful.
I do not
Like
get how anyone
yeah,
cannot
they
love
said
this
I
thing.
never listened to Japanese music before, but the song just went well with the animation and with how some of the characters were behaving, the moments in it, and they just absolutely loved it.
I love
And
that
you
thing
can't
so
sit
much.
here and tell me that this is just man. But I do feel to an extent that some people have tastes regarding certain music. Like for me, I can listen to almost any kind of music, but at the same time, it has to be audibly appealing to me. Like same topic, like when Sam showing Mewtwo's theme. Like I know he loves Mewtwo, but then like when I listened to his theme, I wasn't really feeling it. I still feel that way. I'm not saying the song is ass or meh. It's just like for me, I want to like it, but I can't force myself to like it.
Trash take, bro.
It's
Trash take.
and
Trash
there it
take.
is.
But to go off your what you just said, Crimson, I agree. My deal with the music videos, even if you're not a Pokemon fan, even if you dislike Pokemon, I feel like objectively that music video was really good. Like I think that's just an
Right.
objective thing.
For me,
Like the choreography was good, the visuals were good. You could say you didn't like the song because you may not be into that band or that type of music. But
That's
the
fair.
choreography, I think objectively was just good.
Right.
Like you
for
could
me, I
replace
don't know
you
if I
could
can say
replace
that
Pokemon
because
with
I'm not a
Beyblade,
Pokemon.
and I still would have been like, "Oh, this is still great." I just don't
Yuto,
know
even you're
anything
not a
about
Pokemon
Beyblade.
fan, and you were sitting there saying that some shots look badass as hell. And this, like, single-handedly,
I mean,
this music video.
I heard about N. I don't have emotional attachment to it. I would say it looks good, but like I said, it'd probably be better if I have an emotional attachment
and that's
to it.
fine.
I think
But you can say it's good.
okay. I think it's good. I think it's good. Probably better.
Exactly my point.
For me,
Exactly my
I
point.
don't know
Yeah.
if any people
You can
know.
appreciate that this is a well choreographed piece. Like this is a well choreographed and well produced music video.
I
Even
can
though you
definitely
know nothing
tell.
about Pokemon. Right. That's my point exactly. I
That's
think
the point.
objectively this music video is good. I mean, and I don't think that's an opinion. I think you get that extra feeling towards it if you know Pokemon, that extra connection. But if someone were to say like, I watched this music video and it's just trash to me, I'd probably have to call cap on that. I don't know what else to tell you.
I'd probably call it.
cap.
For me, it'd probably either be it's good, but I wouldn't call it like obviously like amazing since I have no attachment.
Right. I think that attachment pushes you past that. And
Attachment
obviously,
pushes it
if
into
you're a Pokemon
masterpiece.
fan, you have that.
But even as a non-Pokemon fan, the animation's gorgeous. The choreography's
It's gorgeous.
amazing. The music is a genuinely good song. I don't know why. I just don't get how anyone could dislike this feel-good song.
I think objectively speaking, just calling it bad or not produced well or trash would just be cap. But if you said I didn't enjoy it because I know nothing about Pokemon, that'd be fair. You have no idea what's even happening. You're like, all right.
But even
Right.
you, Yuto, you said that you like certain shots. You like the end shot. You said, "Oh my god, that scene looks really cool. That makes you want to give Black and White a chance."
I only liked the end shots.
Sure.
Yeah, I mean, but that's. I think to be fair, I think you guys definitely talked to me about getting into Black and White, and I heard good things. But if I didn't know anything about Pokemon Black and White, I probably would miss the shot. That's just me personally saying it objectively. I'd probably be it's solid, but like I said, no one knows who these characters are, and no one would know really who these are. So I think overall it looks cool and good, but obviously you're not going to know what's really going on, why it makes it special.
And that's exactly the point we're making.
For people, who know nothing about Pokemon, I don't think they'll say this is objectively amazing, but they'll probably say it's good like me. Probably,
Exactly,
but I don't see it. I
exactly.
don't really see them really loving it. But that's just personally me.
But you're saying it's good. You're not saying it's meh or trash, and that's the point here.
Exactly.
You're not saying it's meh or trash.
That's my point.
Right.
That's my point.
All
You know nothing
you're
about
doing, Yuto, is
Pokemon and
proving
you-
us correct. You're proving our point right.
Yes.
No. I'm not saying it's meh or trash. I'm just adding on to your point.
Exactly.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah.
That's the point.
You
That's literally
appreciate
the
it
point.
even though you know nothing. And that.
I'm just taking my objectively unbiased opinion on this as a person who just is never grew up with Pokemon.
Yes. But yeah, Gotcha was good. It was solid.
Yes, in the end, yes,
It's really
Gotcha was good. It was very good.
Gotcha was.
Gotcha
Listen
was.
to the song. What
Gotcha was a
That's the music
masterpiece.
video.
Gotcha was a
Yeah.
masterpiece.
It's a masterpiece in my book.
It's a masterpiece in my book, bro.
It just
That's
on the
true.
shots from that video alone. I am a huge sucker for those types of animations. It just it'll make a person like it just make me scream in excitement. It just made me say like let's go, like no pun intended. Well, it's just very lovely.
I have
It
like
made
only
me
a
cry.
couple flaws with it, and even then they're not big enough. I will admit, I think Sword and Shield. I understand that it deserved that. I understand it's a new game, so it got a bit much, but I wish there was a little less Sword and Shield. I wish there was a bit more balance, and I wish that. It's just a weird thing. I wish all the mascot legendaries got a shot within the opening. That's one thing. Like, you get Zekrom and Reshiram and Groudon Kyogre, but I would have liked to have seen Lugia or Ho-Oh or Rayquaza.
That's right. You don't see no
Yveltal or
silhouettes.
Xerneas. You only see their silhouettes.
Yes.
I would have liked if we gotten a shot of at least all the legendaries, because I think the legendaries are noteworthy enough Pokemon that they deserve their own shots. Especially someone
No, I
like
agree
Lugia.
completely.
Lugia is a Pokemon that everyone loves. And Rayquaza, everyone loves those Pokemon, bro. Everyone loves those
Yeah.
Pokemon.
I would have loved to seen of just this would just I don't know where they would have put it. I don't know what they would have done with it, but I would have loved to seen of Rayquaza against Deoxys.
Yes.
I would have loved to seen
That would have been
dealing with
amazing. That would have been
that.
amazing.
I think that would have been amazing.
I know Krim would have liked that shit. I know you would have liked that
Yeah.
shit.
Oh,
Krim.
I would love it. I will
Yeah.
loved it.
Because the Zinnia, I don't know, I don't remember the name of it.
Oh, they
I
never
was-
showed
Delta
Zinnia.
episode.
Oh.
The Delta
I just
episode.
called it the Delta arc. Yes, I love the Delta story / arc in Mega Ruby. And
That
Alpha
saved that
Sapphire.
game
I
for
thot
me,
that
bro.
was the
That
best
saved that
thing
game.
about that.
Yes,
Yeah, that was
saved
the
game hard.
best thing about it. It was so good. It was like Pokemon Gen 5 levels of good story, and the way it was implemented, I felt like it was great.
I don't think it's as good as
Alright.
Gen 5. I wouldn't go and say
I don't
that,
think
but-
it is. I said it was on the same level. I don't think it's as good because it was just one small story arc versus
But I did like it a lot.
an
I liked
entire
the
game.
Delta
But it was
episode.
really good.
I really liked the
um,
Delta episode.
It was that was the same. That was the last time I got a similar feeling towards the Pokemon story in the game as I did for Gen 5. Was definitely that arc. So I was
And
I
Rydell?
wish it could have been implemented some way, but yeah, I agree that the legendaries of all the games probably should have been implemented more than just silhouettes. So
Alright,
yeah,
that's
I could
the
see
only
that
thing.
being a gripe.
That's
It's still a
the
10
only
out of 10 video.
Still
though.
amazing.
Still amazing.
Mewtwo
And
got
that
him
Eevee is
there,
great.
and
I want an Eevee that looks like that. I want that Eevee, bro.
Dialga Palkia are actually ones that I'm surprised didn't get anything. Diamond and Pearl were probably the ones that got the least amount in here, and I can like Gen 4 probably got the least amount of
Gen
attention
4
in this.
Yeah, Gen 4 didn't get much because even just the main characters of Gen 4 were just kind of quick, like little shots.
Yeah, we didn't get Dialga or Palkia or Giratina. We didn't get to see a cool shot of Cyrus. Actually, another thing, I would have liked to have seen the evil leaders get a shot of themselves. Like, have it just one
Yeah.
shot of all the evil leaders, like, standing
I
next to each
remember
other.
having to pause the video and look through all the silhouettes of the
Yeah,
villains.
I
I'm
like the
"Did we actually
silhouettes.
Get everyone? Yeah.
I like the silhouettes, but like how they did a shot of all those trainers together, like the Sun and Moon guys all together. You could have done one of like the evil leaders, like the
Yeah.
Rainbow Rocket from Ultra Sun
Yeah.
and Ultra Moon, have Giovanni in the center, and then all the other ones like right behind him. That would have been sick. That would
That
have
would
been
have been
sick.
cool. That would have been really cool.
But overall,
Um,
amazing music video. Amazing.
Amazing.
In general,
amazing.
Pokemon from its animation perspective has been impressing me massively recently. Loving Journeys. We started the Darkest Night arc, the Sun and Moon climactic arc with Zacian and Zamazenta this week. That's
And
looking
Chairman
really
Rose
solid.
and his massive dad bod.
Yeah, Sherman Rose, bro, and his
I
dad.
need to
bod.
get on that Journeys. I really do.
It's really good. I teared
yeah.
up like a couple times. I teared up in
Okay.
episode. I teared up in episode 2, bro. I teared up in episode 2.
episode 2. What the heck? All right.
Episode
It
episode
was
1
it
even
was
made
a
me tear up.
Lugia.
Episode 1 even made me tear up, bro. Episode 1 was sad as shit. Pikachu's backstory.
Yeah, I was
Bro.
about to say Pikachu's backstory was episode 1. And,
Yeah,
it
Pikachu's
looked
backstory was
pretty
episode
sad.
1. It was.
Like, stuff
Oh,
went
it
down.
was. It's
So,
really sad.
yeah.
And then episode 2 is just the Lugia scene where they fly all over Kanto, and Lugia from the second movie is one of my favorite things ever. I adore that Pokemon
Oh
to
yeah,
death.
Pokemon 2000 is a classic for me.
As a kid, my
It's
dream was always to
classic.
fly on a Lugia. Just that thing was gorgeous. My thing is always, I've always really liked birds and animals that have really large wingspans, and Lugia always had a really large, really, really strong wingspan, and I always really liked that and thought it was a majestic, gorgeous Pokemon. And seeing them fly over Kanto on it, and what they did really cool is that they talked during the beginning of it, and then just halfway through, they just stopped talking and they just raised the music up. It's this really, really, really gorgeous track. I'm actually going to show it to you guys after we're done with the podcast. It's this gorgeous track, and they just raise it up, and they just let the entire scene play, no talking, just silence from the characters, and just the music as they fly over Kanto and Lugia's back. It's gorgeous.
Like I said, I feel like Pokemon fans have been eating pretty well.
Even if their issues with Sword and Shield are valid. Even if I do have issues with Sword and Shield.
Oh, yeah.
I don't believe they're perfect
Some of the animations in Sword and Shield are still just...
Sword and Shield.
Every ladder is Dio.
I like the Sword and Shield games. I finally picked it up for the first time in months yesterday.
They're solid.
They're solid.
Yeah.
They're fine. Not the best, not the worst. They have issues. The Crown Tundra looks really promising, though. I am genuinely excited for that. Even if Calyrex looks like a giant walking Tomadeer. That thing is...
I don't like Calyrex. I don't like it.
I like the horses.
I've seen some gameplay of it. It actually looks pretty good. It looks very much... It seems to be bringing back that adventure aspect of Pokemon. And I even felt that through watching streams of it.
I'm not watching any streams. I'm staying a bit blind on that thing because I got spoiled.
I wouldn't. I'm just not planning to probably play it myself. So, but it looks pretty good. It does look pretty good.
It looks really solid.
I'm just waiting for the next
It's just a shame it took so long to get there.
Yeah. But at least we're here. We can always complain about how it took forever to get here, but at least we're here. Or at least.
Oh yeah.
I'm never gonna be happy about that.
Yeah, because you're an anal little perfectionist.
I've seen a lot of people saying like
Michael be like, I've played 20 years of great Pokemon games. Pokemon makes one fuck up. A relationship ended with Pokemon. Relationship with Digimon started.
Not true at all. Not what I'm saying at all.
Relationship with Digimon started.
I have seen a lot of.
I wouldn't mind playing fucking Hack of Memory and Cyber Sleuth.
I've seen a lot of memes of people saying with the Crown Tundra, the DLC, they're like, "Oh, okay, so they just released they just finally released the full game."
I remember Shofu taking the piss out of this, and the Pokemon fans is a goddamn cesspool. They went at him for ages, even though he still likes Pokemon, but he will say it's shit when it's shit. But everyone.
Wait, Michael, you're a Shofu fan?
Yeah.
Yes. Yes, I know.
I'm going to get capped for this.
Like, Jesus fucking Christ.
I'm going to get capped for this. Shofu never did it for me. I never
really. I think he's hilarious, bro.
I think he's solid. I don't want to diss the guy. If Shofu ever watches this, I like you, my guy, but I've just never been the one that watches content all the time. I
watch his streams all the time with Among Us and Pokemon, and I don't know why he just does it for me.
Man can entertain. Man can definitely entertain.
Man can definitely entertain, dude. But yeah, that's my thoughts on just Pokemon in general. I just think it's been a great year for Pokemon. I think it's been pretty strong.
This gotcha music video's got me back into hardcore Pokemon. The TCG looks really cool right now. I've been playing some Nuzlocke. Yeah. I need to get back to my other one.
The gotcha music video in Pokemon Masters, a darn gotcha game, just made me like a huge Pokemon fan again, because I had, kind of been more so with Yu-Gi-Oh than Pokemon, and as we know, that's kind of how all of us have met, is through Yu-Gi-Oh. And now, as much as I hate to say it, I don't think Yu-Gi-Oh is bad, but that's kind of flip-flops for me now. Pokemon.
I mean, the anime is definitely gone down, so all the casual fans are kind of gone for now.
Yeah.
I disagree. Seven's anime is actually quite popular. It's gotten some of the best ratings that Yu-Gi-Oh's ever gotten.
Surprisingly.
Seven's has gotten some. So I'm not sure if Michael knew this.
In Japan, but we're in the West, where we all speak English.
Seven's is popular, but they don't have an immense amount of fan base as of much. It's appealing to a certain fan base, which is fine. That's what they're going for. That's fine, but it's not going to appeal to most of the older.
I don't think Yu-Gi-Oh's ever had an immense fan base, though. I think most of the Yu-Gi-Oh animes have always been pretty much niche. I don't think you're going to go to most anime fans.
Even then, I'd probably think it's a lot smaller from what I've seen.
It's smaller, but
there were the fans who played the game, and then the anime brought a little more people in. But now the people who aren't in the anime, because Sevens have kind of gone away.
And there's always been that separation between the Yu-Gi-Oh game and the Yu-Gi-Oh anime. 95% of people,
right.
95% of people who play the games,
you're like, "Do you watch the anime?" They're like,
"Don't
watch
the anime."
Are you a loser? Like,
what a bitch!
I kind of am.
Kind of am. Like, I like my animes, bro.
I remember. It's like, do you watch anime? It's like, I watch animes, and then my heart broke.
When I went to this art shop, well, go ahead, Forte.
I said I've watched this Linkin Park Naruto AMV. That's all I know about the anime. Crawling in
my skin.
When I went to go sell my Yu-Gi-Oh cards, I saw the guy there named Casey, and so like he asked me like, have I seen? He asked me have I seen watch the anime. I was surprised because I didn't think no one would ask me that. I was like, yeah, I used to watch the Yu-Gi-Oh anime, and I'm like, what?
You guys can tell me
No,
about
because
this.
like when
I
told him
definitely
about
don't watch
Seven,
it every week. I definitely don't watch it every
no,
week.
when I told him about Sevens, he's like, "Wait, there's a new one? I thought it was called Reigns. Oh no, Reigns is over."
Oh no. I know it's like, oh no.
Not the biggest
sweetie.
fan of Reigns. Reigns is what, like, everyone here got lost with Sevens. I got lost with Reigns. Reigns lost me hardcore. That show.
Like,
lost me.
What I will say about
Reigns lost me too, but I wanted to give Sevens a chance, but then I gave it a chance. I'm like, no.
And what I will say about Vrains was it was still the same type of Yu-Gi-Oh because of Studio
That we're
Galaxy.
It was
used
just
to.
bad.
Right. It was the same type of Yu-Gi-Oh that
I
we've
disagree.
seen.
Looking at
But-
Vrains, I definitely have a
You're all really small brained. It is actually
I
this
still
really
like
masterpiece
for what it
of
was.
Michael,
writing.
shut up.
not a show that everyone would like, and definitely had a lot of flaws. But I can still look back positively on some
Name
things.
one pro.
Yeah.
Sure.
You do. That's what you say. Yeah, like and good. Those are two different conversations.
Right,
Yeah.
right. I was just saying that Vrains, whether you like it or not,
What did you
I
say, Matt?
agree.
You cut out
You can
slightly.
like whatever you want, but like at the end of the day, you have to admit what you like can be pretty shitty.
What,
yeah.
Matt, you
Well,
were
I
saying
was
something.
just saying, I was just saying that Vrains, even if you didn't like it or you loved it, it followed that same Yu-Gi-Oh that we've had all throughout this time.
It just did it
up
badly.
until Sevens. Right. Well, I think it did it. I think it was mediocre.
I think it did enough.
It was
I
entertaining.
disagree. I think Vrains was a terrible show that insulted its fans and its viewers on a consistent
Dang.
basis.
Dang.
I think Vrains was a show that I think Vrains was a
a
show that consistently told its viewers what to feel, how to feel, and when to feel. Things like the whole Bowman Haru backstory summarize all my issues with Vrains in one episode.
I'm the real playmaker.
Out of nowhere, it introduces
That was-
scenes
that
and
was kind of funny.
backstories.
I'm getting that later. I'm getting that later.
Out of nowhere, it introduces scenes and backstories that make you want to care about characters, but at the end of the day, they then kill them off
we
before
Bowman.
you even have a chance. They tell you consistently what scenes you should feel sad at and which scenes you should feel happy at, and at the time, most of the episodes of Reigns, I was consistently bored. I didn't feel sad or happy. I liked a couple characters. I liked I in the end, but he got completely
I like
cucked by
Soulburner.
having... I like Soulburner at the end. I didn't like Soulburner much at the beginning. I like Revolver.
Yeah.
I like Spectre, even if he got cocked. I do like some things about Reigns, but overall,
the
I think it's a bad
Revolver
show.
Soul Burner duel was definitely the peak.
That's
of
a great
Reigns.
duel.
And
I just wish
and
Soul
I think
Burner's...
that's yeah.
I
And
just
think that's pretty
wish-
telling because it was like the last 5 episodes.
I
So-
really like Revolver
Guys,
Soulburner,
maybe.
but I do
Yeah.
wish Soulburner's feelings in that duel were further explored a bit before the last 4 episodes of the show. Like,
Yeah, I agree.
we
with
had
that.
we had those feelings at the beginning of the show when we first meet Soulburner. We have these big things about him wanting to meet his protect his parents and like get revenge, not revenge, but like he holds himself responsible for his parents' death, and then they just kind of dropped it. And then he just kind of becomes Red Playmaker for a while, and then
Red
duels Bowman.
Playmaker.
and
There's
gets
red
dies.
playmaker and girl playmaker and buff playmaker.
And in general, Brains does this thing where character loses, they go off screen for a while, and then they come back, and that's development. And I would much rather see the character
Owie
develop on
leave,
screen.
gets a new
They come
outfit.
back with the
I've
belt, with
completely
with the
developed
look.
that character.
That's exactly what Reigns did consistently. Go loses, goes off screen for a while, comes back and gets developed. I like Go more than a lot
Yeah,
of
come
characters in
back with a
Reigns,
new look.
but Revolver did the same thing. even if I
Owie
like
and Go
him.
constantly changing their. Well, I guess Go not. So
How we
much, because-
changed her costume.
Owie's
I
one of
am
the biggest
now a
problems.
new and developed person.
No.
It's exactly it. Owie
That
loses a
looks
duel,
kinda jarring.
she changes
Yeah.
her outfit, and then she's a magically new person now that's developed. I'm like, no, you just cut from one corner to the other. I want the gradual development. I want to see these characters deal with their losses, not just go off screen for 20, 30 episodes, and then come
Yeah.
back as a brand
I
new
will
person.
give for Aoi. I think Aoi was definitely a bit weak on the writing aspect, but I
for
will
sure.
still admit that I still did like some moments from her. But yes,
I mean,
still
I'm not
remember
saying that
how
I didn't
weird
like
it
any
was.
moments. Blue Angel
I
was
still
my favorite
remember
character.
how weird it was
for a
them
while.
connecting her to the the Ignis struggle is what
Oh,
I'll call
for
it.
sure.
By
I
randomly
didn't
calling
like
her
it.
childhood friend Miyu
I
or
didn't-
whatever.
That was such a
or
dumb.
whatever.
That was a really
I
dumb
was-
plot point. That was really
That
dumb.
left a little bit of a bad taste in my mouth. I
Again,
won't
it's what
lie.
Frames does, where
Yeah.
out of nowhere it makes reactive storytelling and tells you, you should be sad now. You should be really sad and invested now. But I've just heard about this character like 30 seconds ago.
Feel
Be sad.
emotions.
It's like my
Yeah,
problem with
that
the Earth duel. That they introduce Earth and then kill him off in like 3 episodes. And I'll admit
I
it,
don't
his death scene.
disagree. I think Earth was
No.
at least explored at least 3 different episodes. So I did still like Earth. I
I'm
still
not-
think that
I like Earth
scene-
enough. I don't dislike
Still,
Earth.
still like the death scene
Some
hold
backstory
and
with
making it
him. Yeah.
permanent actually did help it a lot. If they Ignis, I'll say for season 2, at least most of the Ignis actually were dead, and it's dead for now. Like maybe later they can retcon it later, but I did like in the aftermath of the war, it was dead, and at least Ai's motivation
I like
actually helped.
Flame.
That's
Flame
one
was my
thing I
favorite
will
Ignis.
say I really did like.
Yeah.
I like
Um,
Flame. Wasn't the biggest fan of what's her name? Aqua. Aqua was pretty trash. I
No,
didn't care
yeah,
for
that's a
Earth.
blue one.
Earth's
Yeah, the
jokes
girl-
got
that's not
funny.
a girl.
Earth's jokes got not funny very quickly. I didn't feel at all invested. He was introduced very quickly. It's one of my least favorite character tropes. Introduce character, give them sad backstory, kill them off. I don't like that
Right.
character trope. I think it's really, really common. I don't think Vrains did well.
How many fucking recap episodes do we have in Vrains?
Well, I'm not going to get down those because those were genuinely explainable by actual issues within
Yeah.
studio. Those aren't my problems with
Yeah.
Vrains. My problem
I
is
know, but
everything
like
around it.
the problem with the studio then reflects on the problem with the show because they had no fucking time to do anything.
I mean, exactly, but I'm going to judge the show based on its actual episodes and not just recap
Right.
episodes.
But when I brought up Yu-Gi-Oh, I wouldn't mind. Now this will never happen, but I wouldn't mind if Yu-Gi-Oh had that kind of love letter that Pokemon got. Like if there was a Yu-Gi-Oh gotcha. Obviously,
That's what Yu-Gi-Oh! Arc 5 tried to be, though. That's what Arc 5
Yeah,
tried to be.
it tried and failed.
It tried
I
and it
just want
failed.
a music video.
It tried. We spent way too much time
I know,
in Synchro,
like, making a
and then we
gotcha would be
fucked
really
through everything
cool.
else. And then we had like
Yeah.
15 minutes of the goddamn Amnesia arc, and now we're here.
Arc 5
Yeah.
tried to be that love letter to Yu-Gi-Oh! And I genuinely believe that they originally
But I
planned
will
Arc 5
say,
to be the
the
end.
further we get away from Arc 5, the better it looks to me. Like I look back on it more
Same,
fondly
same.
than I did.
Same.
I mean, I
think
had
would
a fun with Arc
remember-
5 for what it was,
Yeah.
but like,
Yeah.
its ending was still super dookie.
It's
Oh
ending
yeah, it
just
wasn't
mid.
great. It was not great, but they tried.
They tried. In the end, isn't that what
I like
really
Arc
for
5 more than
effort.
Vrains, and at least like Vrains, I think was consistently meh. Arc 5 was good at points, but
Arc
then
5
shit at
had
points.
really, really high moments and then really, really,
Really
bad
low
moments.
lows. And
So
it's a
kinda
matter of
like
me.
a pick your poison.
Do I
but,
want to exactly? It's a pick your poison. Do I pick the show that was consistently meh, other than like two or three scenes that I genuinely liked, or
Or
the show
reached
that
for the
I
stars.
loved at
Yeah.
a point and then hated at a point?
And Yuto and I agree with this when we were watching Vrains. I remember we had a discussion about this, that we did say that the duels in Arc 5 were better overall.
Vrains'
And I was
duels.
like,
That's
yeah.
one of the reasons I hated it. I hated the
they
aesthetic.
try to make all their duels are fucking like speed duels.
I didn't like the duels in Vrains. I thought most of them were
Yeah.
boring. I thought most of them were monotonous. I thought this is another thing. I liked Arc 5 as well because at least a lot of duels took place in different areas and different backgrounds, and the action fields added something new and spicy to like the background at least. Because like
I agree with that.
with
Yeah,
Vrains,
because
it
like
was
I can get that. Like everyone would be duels just standing there.
scenery definitely
What's
matters in a
that?
fight. Scenery matters in a fight. Absolutely. Scenery, absolutely.
That's like one of my problems with Synchro Arc, where it's like they took a whale that just did like riding
Yes.
duel on the same track every episode.
Yes, and that was a problem. That was one of the problems with
That
Arc
was a
5.
problem.
That was a problem. That's when Arc 5 lost a bit, but then it got it back later. I think at least that's one of the things I liked about Arc 5. The action duels. I don't like the action cards, but I like the concept of the...
Yeah.
I like the
yeah. 'Cause,
users
like,
having to
Yeah,
run
'cause he was
around the
DHing, You
field.
didn't like it either.
I like the concept of the action duel, whereas the entertainers running around the field and jumping from place to
Yes,
place and
I agree
dodging
with that.
attacks
But
and
the
riding
fact
their
that it's
monsters.
literally just a Deus Ex for like, oh no, I have no card set. Good thing I'll find this magic cylinder and an action card.
And then to combat that,
Yeah.
what they did in Vrains is, not many people ever talk about this, is that in Arc 5, cards specifically were really simple because they knew this character could shit their field off and then have a comeback play because they have every action spell under the sun. Vrains, because you started with one less card in hand and you didn't have action cards, they made all these random trap cards that did like 3 or 4 unrelated effects just to get people out of shitty situations. Like, I remember
But
like
even
that,
then, well, I'm gonna refute that. A lot of GX5Ds were a lot more issues on that.
I
They did
disagree.
a lot more on that.
Vrains has
No,
like
I-
a million trap cards that do like this, like 3
What about
unrelated
is
things.
we're talking about bad Raises right now.
Yuto
You know, that's
actually
still
came
wrong.
in
I'm
and said,
I'm
no,
talking
that's
about the
wrong.
trap situation.
No,
Yeah.
We're talking about
Yeah,
how
that's
bad
wrong.
brains is.
I'm
right
not
now.
saying
Be
that
quiet.
traps are unsituational, but the difference is that Vrains. This isn't again. I'm not saying that other shows don't do situational traps, but what Vrains did is that because you started with one less card in the hand, they needed every card in the hand to do more shit. And because they didn't have action cards, they couldn't have another card to save the character when they got into a shitty situation. So it forced the characters to play on this slow ground where they summon one Link monster a turn, summon Decode, and then have 2 or 3 trap cards that do 3 effects each. And then it just
Right.
turned duels into, it's just these trap cards were the only things that kept the duels going longer. At least dual traps in like Duel Monsters GM and GX were like one simple effect. It stopped it, paused the duel, like elongated it for 1 turn, and then the character could come back. With this, you'd use the trap card, then it would go to the graveyard, then it would have some grave effect that did something or another that had nothing to do with the first effect. Then it would save
Right,
yourself in
'cause-
the situation, and it happened again and again and again, and it made duels way
Okay,
longer than
like,
needed to be.
correctly-
I think I know what he was getting at. Like, GX
Yeah.
and 5D, they had a lot of one-off cards.
Yes, they had a lot of
But
wild
like,
cards.
but they weren't packed to the brim with effects like Vrain's had.
Yusaku's
Because
cards
with
were all
the state of
packed
the
to the rim
game
with
at that
effects.
point. I don't think you could even banish a card from your graveyard, a trap or a spell, and it do anything. I could be wrong, but
It
I don't
depends on the
remember that
trap.
being a thing in GX.
But yeah,
I don't know. For me, I personally like that aspect because I think it affected a bit more on the IRL aspect. But that's just me personally. I did like Brains.
That'd be
I
fine
still-
if the
I
cards
like
were-
it visually as much. I think like at least the dual wise, I think it was a lot flowed better. There were some combos that were pretty neat. So I like that aspect a lot.
I didn't like that
Yeah.
aspect. I thought the duels were monotonous and boring, and I thought the
At
cards
least
were missing.
Forte and I don't know about Forte's mostly, but I'd still think that some of the duels were pretty solid.
I think some of the duels were pretty solid.
Yeah. There's some duels I liked in Brains. I thought were solid. I like Blood Shepherd's duel against Lightning.
I like Spectre's duel against Lightning. I like Revolver. Soul Burner. I thought
Revolver's duel against Soul Burner.
I thought I versus Saku was solid enough.
Playmaker and I wasn't a huge fan of. I
wasn't
liked
either.
their
I think the biggest
relationship,
issue
but the
was
dueling
Yusaku's
wasn't.
duels. Sorry.
Yeah,
Well,
I
I'm
just
mainly
don't like
targeting
Yusaku
Yusaku here.
deck.
Like, I'm mainly targeting
just don't
Yusaku
like
here, Yuto,
Fibers.
because the majority of duels in Vrains were Yusaku. Yusaku dueled more than any other character,
Yeah.
obviously,
And
but
I
there was
didn't
so
really
much
care
more,
about
and then he
most
never
of his
lose.
duels,
But he would never
but-
lose because he did some cool combo, like Yusei. For example, I don't want to just suck up Yusei, but if Yusei won, it was by combining 2 or 3 cards together in this succession of things like dominoes falling over. Like there's that scene in 5Ds where he's facing the Mechlord Emperor Weissel that we made the Goki meme out of, that showcased, like, that summarizes Yusei really well. You'd see the chain of cards connecting to each other, and it'd be Yusei going, how do I make these cards that I have at my disposal, even if they are obviously bullshit cards, Deus Ex Machinas to get him out of situations, how do I combine them together to make something entertaining? All Yusaku would do is do what Yusaku does every duel, summon Deco Talker, and then have some brand new trap card that had one effect to protect him by battle, one effect to protect him from damage, one effect to win him the duel, one effect to do it this, and then you just have
Win him the duel.
Or just Storm Access.
it was mainly Yusaku's duels, because Yusaku just summons Decode Talker, and then goes, activates some random trap card that has 5 effects, and then it's like, I understand, if these cards were actually good, and actually had impact on the TCG, then I'd be like, okay, cool. Like Infinite Impermanence, when Amma used Imperm, I was hollering, bro. I'm like, hey, yo! Imperm!
Yeah, that was pretty cool. That was pretty cool.
That was cool as shit. But all
that
Yusaku's
was
cards
really
are
cool.
trash. They're all trash. The only cards of these all play were like, what? Firewall Dragon, Decode, Access Code, and maybe a couple other random cyber
Transcode?
things. Yeah, Transcode, I guess.
Yeah.
There were a couple cards of Yusaku's that still play, but they were just kind of boring. I don't like Cybers.
Yeah.
I don't like...
Okay, a lot of cards that did say play
Personally,
from
I
Yusaku had to do with the either Decode or Firewall or big beefy smack like when we got fucking
Access Code.
Personally, as well, most of it helped that most of the decks and Vrains were pretty solid. At least I would say solid for like at least local play and etc.
I
So
mean,
that
fair.
helped me a lot for liking the decks most of the time as well. I think
liked
most
most
of
of the
the
decks.
like compared to most of the animes, most of the time the decks were almost unplayable by themselves. But at least for Vrains, most of the archetypes they had a whole cohesion and they actually.
But I
worked.
see enough anime. I see enough decks that are good enough in a local level every time I go to locals. When I come to Yu-Gi-Oh!
But this
Anime,
is coming from an anime perspective. If I'm looking at anime deck, like I look at the anime, I'm like, oh, this deck's cool. I want to play an RL. But most of the time, in for 5Ds, GX, or DM, or Arc 5 as well, like you didn't have most of the decks of cohesion. I think at least most of the decks in Vrains had a lot of cohesion
but like
for themselves.
Year's deck was playable, Rage's deck was playable.
well, Arc 5 had a lot of playable decks.
But Arc 5 had Kaito, Cyphers. They had like Red, Jack Atlas's Red deck. They have all of those. You want to play them, but you can't make it build a deck out of
Yeah,
it.
But
and
Vrains
Arc-
had
and-
shit
and
like
Vrains
what?
had-
Vrains had like the Baboon deck. Vrains had the bloody, what's it named? What was
But the Baboon, that's Naoki.
What
Like,
was
no one
what was
gives a shit about
Genome's
that.
deck? What was
Vrains-
what was
Vrains-
Genome's deck
Vrains had
name?
Light's deck.
Trickstars.
Vrains
I'm
had
talking about.
There was-
Windy's deck.
But then you're talking about. But if you want to use those, then use the correct examples from Arc 5. Arc 5 had DDDs. Arc 5 had Phantom Knights. Arc 5 had Pendulums. Arc 5 had Supreme
Speedroid,
Kings.
Predaplant.
Arc 5
I mean,
had
yes, some have Arc
Lunalights.
5, but some other decks you wanted to play. Most of the
But a lot of
Vrains
Vrains decks were the same. Helix wasn't good. The Mummy deck
Dino
wasn't good.
Wrestlers.
Dino Wrestler wasn't
Helix
good.
and Homily weren't in the game. They were never printed. Helix, Double Helix, none of them are printed.
Red
The only thing
printed?
that was printed was Dino Wrestlers. Dino Wrestlers aren't.
Dino
good.
Wrestlers weren't good. Marine Cess weren't really that good. They were fine, but they weren't really that good.
Even then, I would take fine and like not playable. I would
but
like
a lot
to
of
have
Arc
played
5
it.
decks were fine. Cypher is
You're taking
fine.
shots at like decks that aren't playable, but then you say
I'm
Red.
talking about
Red's not
I'm
archetype.
talking about other anime. I'm saying just Marine says, even if they're fine. I'm not talking about a competitive standpoint. Not at all right now. I'm talking about more of a casual and kind of like that.
When I
local-
see decks in the anime, my priority is I want to see decks in the anime that entertain me. I don't really need to play every deck in the anime in the TCG. I want to see decks that I want to see fun on screen. I want to see cool combos on my screen. I don't look at Yusei summoning his 5 synchro monsters and go, oh, I want to do that in TCG. I'm like, oh my god, that's a really cool moment. That's really hype. It's really fun. I want to come to the anime to have entertainment. I can have the decks be good in the TCG all I want, but if it's not entertaining on my screen, then I'm not going to give a shit if they go in the TCG.
Right.
For me,
Because to
if
go
I
off
like,
your
if I
point,
like the
In
anime,
general,
I
like-
like to relive the anime points. I'd like to play.
And
it almost
that's
to
not
make
what
it
I come to
work.
the anime for.
I'm one of those.
And I'm not.
but to go off your point, Sam,
Exactly.
Yu-Gi-Oh is very much a
That's
shonen,
one-
and
Exactly.
the
It's a
battles are
shonen.
very important. So you want to see good choreography with dueling. You want to see
Exactly.
And
that
that's
back
why I
and
dislike
forth.
Reigns,
If the
'cause most of the
deck is
duels were boring
it's like if you have a
choreography.
fight in a normal shonen anime, because this is the mode of battle in Yu-Gi-Oh. I don't want to see like some 3-turn same play over and over and over again, which Yusaku, he had some similar plays a lot of the time. You want to see fresh choreography and fresh battles for sure.
Exactly.
Like if whenever you start a fight, you don't want to start off with the same. You don't want to start off the same way. You want to start off something different.
Exactly.
You
So
like-
it seems
Yeah.
that
Yeah, 'cause,
like we
then
all
at that
agree on
point,
that
if
aspect.
you start, go ahead, Sam.
I'm just saying, it seems that we all agree on that aspect. We want to see
Oh yeah, we do.
interesting.
I agree completely.
I think
Yeah,
we all
like,
agree with that.
that's
You
why-
two
that's why I
seem
was-
to
that's
be
why I
not agreeing
I
with this
mean,
one.
I was gonna say, like, that's why I keep comparing Yu-Gi-Oh to fighting games sometimes, because like one of the things they have in common is what I pointed out earlier. You don't always want to start out your plays the same way at the beginning. You want to like do something to catch your opponent off guard while also entertain the person or people that are watching you play. Because like
Yeah.
if you keep doing the same thing,
We're talking about
No, I
Yu-Gi-Oh!
wanna
We're
hear
talking
that.
about Yu-Gi-Oh! Through the anime
No,
aspect right now,
no,
Michael. Not
No,
the.
for the anime, like you like there's a bit of a disconnect there, dude. You're comparing like fighting game where like the entertaining part really isn't it. It's like if it works and you're more likely to win a fighting game, you do it.
I mean, it depends on the person, really. But
Exactly, that's what I'm
it
trying
depends
to
on the
get at.
person. But
People have different ways of enjoying.
But the majority of
games,
fighting
so
game
that's
players,
what
as
I
the
mean.
majority of any competitive game players, just want to win, and I can't blame them
Exactly.
for it.
They
wanna
want something
win.
that will work consistently and will make them win.
That's what
Yeah.
Yu-Gi-Oh! is as a game, and that's not what I'm looking for in an anime.
I don't want
see
to see that
Yu-Gi-Oh!
in the
I don't want to see that in the
right?
anime,
Exactly.
man. I don't want to see
Yeah.
her go summon Marionetta set 4 pass. I see that every day when I go to bloody locals. I don't want to see the same
Yeah.
things that I see on my screen, the same thing here. I go to
It's
the anime to get a
cringe.
different experience. I go to the Yu-Gi-Oh!
Exactly.
animes to get a different
Well,
experience
viewers
than what I
at
get in the
home,
TCG.
if you couldn't tell, we're huge Yu-Gi-Oh fans, so
Yeah,
that's
we
why
like
this
Yu-Gi-Oh!
happened.
fans. But when I
This
go
is
to the
how we,
Yu-Gi-Oh! anime,
The other better card game, like a
if
bunch
I
of
can
gods
play
and
decks, if I can play decks from the anime, like Performer Pal or Pendulum as an example, but Pendulum plays so differently in the TCG than it does to the anime that I'm not looking at the anime and seeing the exact same thing that I do every game. It's not like
Which
I
is
go
nice.
pen, call, discard, Darkworm. If I saw that every episode in the anime, I'd be bored as shit.
You just summons Darkworm, discard.
Pen, call, discard, Darkworm, search, the 2 magicians. I like Pendulum, but it plays differently in the TCG because I want a different experience when I'm playing the card game.
You
to
just
what I'm
sets up
watching
a
in the anime.
board with.
When I see the anime,
Yeah.
I don't want to see her go normal Candine and use effect. Oh goody. Oh goody. It's not like I see this every time.
Oh, goody.
And that makes the
Yeah.
fights feel boring and unalive. It makes me feel like I'm living the exact same thing that I see every day of my life if I play Yu-Gi-Oh!
I mean, it kind of
I mean, you're
was
a
like that in Brains. Like
player.
all
For
the
me, I
games,
like that aspect in Brains.
the opening turns.
I didn't,
were
and
always
I think
the
most
same
of us
every
here-
time. Like,
I think we're fated to disagree. I just enjoyed Reigns more than you. I mean, obviously. So
I mean, that's
just-
fine, but we're just talking on the podcast, like nothing
Yeah,
personal.
that's fair. That's fair.
Yeah, I mean,
Um,
we're all Yu-Gi-Oh fans, so we're gonna get passionate
Are
about.
we Yu-Gi-Oh fans anymore?
I don't really consider myself
know.
a Yu-Gi-Oh fan anymore, quite frankly. I don't care about the anime. I don't really care about the game. I'm thinking about selling out.
Yeah.
Uh,
Yeah, and that's how I got on this topic. I feel like even if it's not Pokemon for I guess just Yuto in here, I do feel like we've shifted. I think Yuto has gone more towards Gundam and other anime than
And
Yu-Gi-Oh
Genshin Impact.
nowadays. Right, and Genshin Impact.
Gotcha.
Which,
I mean,
which,
even then, I
yeah,
still
yeah.
probably Yu-Gi-Oh still places in a special heart in my
Oh, yeah,
place.
for sure.
I think we
don't
all have a
like-
special
Good
place in our
loyalty
heart for
support
Yu-Gi-Oh,
and
but
all
I
that
still
good stuff. Yeah.
I still would call myself a Yu-Gi-Oh fan. I'd
I
love
don't
to talk
consider
about
myself.
5
I'm just saying I'm waiting for the next thing.
We still definitely. We discuss all the time. I mean, when's the last Arc 5 rant? Like, what, 3 days ago?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. I'm waiting for Yu-Gi-Oh 8, and then I'll be
Yeah,
back.
for
Okay?
sure. I'm
Yeah.
I'm waiting for Yu-Gi-Oh! 8. I'm waiting for something interesting. I'm waiting for the game to do something interesting. All these cards, like the
Exactly.
Cypher EX Dragon, the card looks cool as shit, but it's garbage. The Armed Dragon stuff looks cool as shit, but it's not good. All these cards.
Agreed.
Yeah, like
Yeah.
they release this legacy shit that's really bad, and you can only play the
Right.
meta shit.
I feel like a lot of fandoms are just eating really well, like I said, and Yu-Gi-Oh! I just feel like, as
It's
a
not.
Yu-Gi-Oh! Fan, I feel like we're just not getting much of anything. If you love sevens, then you're doing great. But if you're like me,
I like the
and
direction they're taking the game. I must admit, I like the direction they're
yeah,
taking the
yeah,
game.
the
Where they're
game is
shifting.
fine. I like the separation.
I really
between
like
the
that there's a
anime and the
separation
game.
between the anime and the game
Yeah.
now. I love that.
Mhm.
I love that so
And
I
so
would
much.
disagree. I would
Sevens for
personally
me is,
disagree.
You like your
because-
anime decks, Yuto, and that's fine. I like seeing new cards in the TCG that are based on old anime decks. I'd much rather see Legacy Phantom.
I
Knight
mean,
support
I
with a
like
couple
that.
cards.
I do like the legacy.
Like for
support.
the
I
time
like
being,
that.
yeah. Like I can kind of get behind what Tim's saying. Like we have plenty of anime decks to make right now.
We have
Oh
like
no, I think taking older legacy anime support, and that's how you're pretty much keeping the anime fans in it. But for me
Yeah.
personally, I just realized that when I'm playing the card game, I definitely the anime was big motivator for me to play the card game.
Yeah, that's
I
fair.
like to see
And
these
that's
new
fine.
decks. I
It's
like
just-
to see these new combos. I like to play the decks I see in the anime and like to have fun with it. Now I don't have that personal connection anymore. The game's just very stale and boring, quite frankly. For me personally, I
I'm
don't
just
have the
personally
anime
sick of
connection.
opening up booster packs and seeing my 15,000th random Cybers card that Yusaku used. I'm like, oh goody, this is just taking up a spot.
Remember that
Set
one
for something
time
cool.
I summoned Cyber Egg
Something.
Dragon and it used its super cool
Egg
effect?
Dragon.
I'm just sick of
Personally,
opening the
I
same
think-
packs and seeing.
Personally, I mean, I guess you didn't have a personal connection with Rain, so I mean that's fine. But
Even
for
Arc 5, I was sick of seeing bloody random performer pals in every fucking set taking up half the set.
Perform
Those
pass.
random shitty ass
Done.
performer pals that I'm never going to use because they were made for some stupid anime situation to get an anime character out of a fucking pinch. I'd
I mean,
rather
fair
see those
enough.
cards be
There's just a
separate.
lot of pack filler, but yeah.
And that's what
I-
most anime
that's
cards
the
is.
deal.
Most anime cards at the end of the day are pack filler. I don't
Now
look.
that
And that's-
speaking of real life,
I should go
gotcha,
and look through my cards and just go through all the Perform Pal pack filler that I own.
Yeah.
I'm sick. I'm glad that we have that separation now because I don't now need to expect. Okay, half the set is going to be cards that are cool, and half the set's going to be
and
used
just a real life gotcha. So you're like, oh great, I pulled another Performer Pal Lizard Man 5 times.
Well, Lizard
Performer
Man's actually
Pal,
good. Lizard Draw is
bitch.
actually a good card. That's actually a really good
No,
card.
Lizard Draw is a good card. I was just making up a random name.
I know
And
Lizard Draw
Man
was
came
really
out.
really good. back in the day.
Lizard Draw is great.
That was
I'm
a
sick
good
of
deck.
seeing another Cyberse
Profound.
Integrator or this Clock
Yeah.
Cleric or something. Clock Spartoy. I'm
I
sick
got
of
one like what was that card that you had the bull with the phone it said?
Hey, no, Long Phone Bull. That card's cool. Long Phone Bull is alright.
Comic.
Long Phone Bull is alright. That card's not good, but
Even then, I'm
pretty
like,
filler.
yeah, I agreed with the sentiment for that. But personally, I like seeing,
And that's
obviously,
fine.
as a fan, you would like to see like some cards getting fucking like printed in like from the
Oh,
anime.
yeah.
So I'm fine with that.
I would
Like,
rather those have their own
obviously, it's just
dedicated
different
sets.
opinions. I'm fine with. What
I'm fine with
seeing
anime cards get printed, but I'd rather them have their own dedicated sets rather than just taking up millions of amounts of space in main sets. I'd rather that.
And
quite frankly.
Yu-Gi-Oh has already told us that they're going to keep doing legacy support in older cards because it sells to people like us.
And
So
that's
there's
fine.
no
I mean,
I
reason.
mean, yeah, that's what they're doing now.
Yeah,
They're not
there's
doing
no
anything
reason for
wrong.
us to
I
have
like
these
the
pack
Phantom Knight
fillers.
support. Like
So-
Arc Rebellion Xyz Dragon, I think is a perfect example of good legacy support. It takes something old, gives it a new twist on it. It's iconic, and it's also usable. It's a usable card that's iconic because it's Dark Rebellion Xyz Dragon, revitalized for a new era, and brought into the game.
Exactly.
I really like retrains
Um,
because it takes cards that I love and shows them in a brand new light where I can actually play with them. I can actually now play with a Dark Rebellion Xyz Dragon and not be a bad player. I can take Scarlet Red Dragon Archfiend for example. I can now play Scarlet Red Dragon Archfiend over original Red Dragon Archfiend without being garbage because I get to now play with a card I like. That's why I like these new supports more because it's taking something old, revitalizing it for new. It doesn't always hit the mark, but I'd rather that than just see.
Right.
He is Yuga's
Speaking
15th,
of
7th
Red
road
Dragon Archfiend,
penis.
Do you still want that Stardust Dragon retrain?
I really do want to start us retrain. I really want to start us retrain.
I would love a cyber end dragon retrain.
I'd
That'd be
rather have a
pretty
set
dope.
that's full of the Arc Rebellion Xyz Dragon, a Cyber End Dragon, a Stardust Dragon than just see
Yes.
Yuga's 15th, 7th road penis. I'd rather see that.
Since we were talking about real life gacha being Yu-Gi-Oh, I'd be remiss if I didn't mention the actual gacha game Genshin Impact.
I was
So-
about to mention that. I was trying to
Yes,
get onto that as
sir.
well, bro.
We were on the same wave.
Segway.
I made sure to play up until a certain point. For those wondering, I was late on the bandwagon. I started playing on PS4 and I got past the prologues. So basically, I have Kaya and Lisa. Thank you. I was gonna say Luna for some reason. I'm like, that's not right. I have Kaya and Lisa on my team here. and I was like, okay, this game's pretty good. But before I give my opinion, since I was late to the game, I just wanted to hear what you guys feel about Genshin Impact overall. Does it live up to the hype? Do you think it's good? How do you feel about it? I know some of your opinions, but you know,
Who's going
so
first?
anyone can start it off.
I
I
I'll
guess
go
you two have
first.
some most
I was the
positive
first one
ones.
to pretty much
Yeah.
get everyone in the bandwagon, but personally, I do like Genshin Impact a lot. I do like it a lot, but my biggest worries about the game is it's definitely a gameplay where you're gonna definitely be enjoyed, immersive a lot, but as a gotcha game, you're gonna have to do dailies. You're gonna have to do like your set limited goals. And most of the time, when you're just not feeling to play today, you just want to get the dailies out of the way. But sometimes the dailies and just collecting raisin and doing bosses, those are very tedious on some days. And what I noticed that like during this week when I was really busy, I just did my 4 dailies, but I couldn't do the full boss raisin and all of that. And those parts are very tedious, which are probably where in a way it's a paradox where the gameplay is so good that makes it harder for you to fight bosses, but at the same time you want to get these dailies out of the way, but you can't really finish them quickly, so sometimes you have to kind of like brush them aside and do other stuff if you're busy, so you have to put them aside. That's the biggest issue with Genshin Impact I have, is probably the flexibility, because it's such a
Yeah.
very immersive gameplay that is definitely a MMO that's pretty good. But if we're talking about gameplay wise, I think overall all the new units so far are very distinct in the gameplay, which I do like. Most of the characters have their own story in the main story of the quests and events, which they're always adding like weekly or bi-weekly. Speaking of which, they added a new Mona story quest like just now, so that's really cool. I like how they're updating the game frequently, and because it's a gotcha game, you're definitely going to get updates most frequently, because you need to like get so the game can sell and you can pull the gotcha. So in a way, the gotcha is a great way for the games to get updated and be very I guess be active, but at the same time, gotcha is the main way to sell it, so you're not going to get the units you want, obviously, as a gotcha. And this gotcha game's the biggest issue is the units, the rates, because it's a 0.6% to pull a 5-star compared to most other gotcha games. And from what I've seen, it's one of the lowest pull rates out of all the gotcha games.
Yeah, that's what
But
I heard.
I will say that you don't need the gotcha unit to play the game, which is very good. And they will give you at least 4 stars, and some of the 4 stars are very good to play with the game. So you're not going to have big issues with the gameplay. But obviously, you're not going to pull the characters you really want. And I will say that I like the characters because of the story. That's what's my main reason to get the story, not get the characters in the gacha pool, not because they just waifu look cool, but for me, I like the story. Definitely hooked me in. I really like the story enough for me to really want to pull the characters, and I do like that even the 4 stars that really don't seem like pack filler units, they're actually given enough treatment and are actually shown in the story, so you can actually connect with them. So I do like most of the units they make. They'll probably be relevant to the story, which I think it just makes it a lot better game-wise experience. But that's my
That
take.
makes sense. That makes sense.
It's completely fair.
Yeah, that's completely fair. To go off what you said, we spoke about this actually earlier today when we were on Gundam. I said the problem with Genshin Impact is I think it's solid, right? Especially for a gotcha game. I'm wondering if it's going to be the next trendsetter for gotchas in a way, if it'll change the game for people who make
No, I
gotcha
don't think
games.
so.
Probably
Maybe
not.
Undethinkable.
Probably not. But what I will say about Genshin is I can't see myself playing it every day, which is a problem, as you said, because with gotcha games, it's very important to do dailies. Um, just listening to what you said made me think of kind of how I feel about the game. I think it's solid, but I'd almost rather it not been a gotcha game. And of course, I didn't pay for it; it was free, so that's good. But I'd almost rather I drop $60 on the game and it not been a gotcha.
I agree.
Now, obviously, you're going to make less money doing that, of course, but it's one of those games where I really wish I could just play it without feeling the pressure of crap. I didn't log in today. I didn't pull. I didn't, all the stresses of gotcha life, right? I really wish it was just a console game, kind of like a Tales of Symphonia, because I feel like it may kind of fall into that, right? It's RPG type setting.
Yeah, the Tales of game is.
Right, the Tales of game. I'd rather just been that instead of a gotcha game. because I don't have those
That'd be
pressures.
cool.
I can just take the story as I want. I can just play it. I know I'm going to get all the characters and just play with them. I'm going to pick my favorites, make cool team comps, all that good stuff. And don't get me wrong, I think Genshin Impact is solid. I actually do think it lives up to the hype. But for me, the setting and all that isn't something that I don't wake up like I did with Persona or even Danganronpa or Pokemon or any other game I played recently and say, man, I cannot wait to get on Genshin Impact today. Which, nothing against Genshin Impact. I think they made a great game, but it's just not resonating with me in that way. I think it's good, but I'd rather it not been a gacha so I don't have to feel stressed to play and I could just immerse myself in the story and play.
Exactly.
But those are my feelings. Nothing against Genshin. It seems solid. Really good game. Really good graphics too. It's a pretty game. Pretty as heck. I like that it's fully voice acted too. That's great.
Are you playing in English or Japanese, Forte?
I'm playing in English right now, but
Nice.
I may switch to sub, just to experience some of the sub voices. And as Yuto mentioned to me when I was playing, you don't have to download the voices, you just switch. I'm like, that's really nice.
That's cool. I'm liking the dub. I'm personally liking the dub quite a bit.
And that's my point. It's like a real, I don't want to use the term real game, but it's like, it's like a real game, a non-gacha game, but it's got these gacha elements.
Exactly. That's how I've described it.
For someone like me, they stress me out.
Yeah, it's an RPG game.
I'm
With
like, I didn't
gacha
do my
elements.
dailies today. So that's my feeling towards the game. So it kind of turns me off from it because I feel like I'm supposed to be doing something all the time. So, yeah.
I will say one thing is the dailies are not necessary if you really don't want new units and you don't care for pulling the gacha. Obviously, you don't really need to. That's the only biggest issue. If you really want to pull a 5-star, that's the only issue. You're gonna have to try to get max currency. I will say one thing about this game is it's very not generous. It's not generous.
Oh yeah, I've seen the memes of people. I guess, okay, this isn't nice, but I've seen the memes of people having it a lower chance of like various things, some of that aren't so good that I won't make fun of on this podcast, obviously, but they gave it like a 0.6, and then your chance of like something else happening is like a 3.4%. I was like, okay, yeah, that does put it into perspective, right? How low the rates are. I think I may just play the game how I would play a normal game. And
That's how I'm doing it.
Like that.
That's how I'm doing it.
Yeah,
Exactly.
so...
If I get the units I want, I get the units I want. There's only one unit I'm really stressing about. There's only one unit I really, really want. Actually, two. There's 2 units I really, really want. But I'll get them over time. I really want Mona.
Yeah.
Because that girl is waifu.
I want Mona too. I did get Fischl. I like Fischl quite a bit. I got 2 of her.
And I want,
okay.
what's his name? Shangling? Shangling?
She is free if you collect.
No, not her. The dude. What's his name? The dude.
Zhongli.
Yeah, Zhongli. Yeah, Zhongli. He's cool.
Okay.
He's cool as shit. I like him a lot. And he's got a goated voice actor. That's my boy.
I will say, I mean, for me
you'll know
personally,
his voice, Forte. Sorry, Yuto, but you'll know his voice, Josh. It's Mondo from Danganronpa.
Oh, that's awesome. Okay,
and
that's
Stark
really
from
cool.
Bleach, and Johann Liebert from Monster, and a ton of characters I really, really like. And I'm like, hey yo,
that's a good VA.
Mona.
I also want to say that I really do like Paimon. Memes aside, I
like
really
Paimon,
like Paimon,
but the memes are getting to get on my nerves.
Well, it's the same meme over and over.
It's the hehe Tanandayo. I can't stand that meme anymore, man. I'm so sick.
Basically, the context behind that scene. Excuse me for real quick. Yeah, the context behind that scene for those who do not know, basically there's this character named Venti. I know, like people, like he will like laugh at you just by saying he, and then that will cause Paimon to get a little ticked at him because she's like, what you mean he? Like, of course she's gonna be a little pissed off because he really just laughing at the. I forgot where the reason why he laughed was about.
It's just Venti being Venti. He's a little smug.
Yeah, Venti being Venti, just being a little snarky.
He's a snarky, boy. Smug piece of shit. No, I like Venti. But
and
favorite characters, Kaya. Kaya's my favorite. Love Lisa.
Great.
She is mommy. Love Mona and love Zhongli from what I've seen.
I really like Kaya. I like all the characters too. That's the deal.
I like the characters. It's just my thoughts are the exact same as yours. I wish it wasn't a gacha because I could actually see myself getting invested in this if it wasn't a gacha and going for the characters I really, really like. And in general, just my thing is I'm never a big fan of that whole fantasy medieval type of setting. It always puts me off. I never like it much in anime. I think it does it well. I like the game. It's just I haven't touched it in a week and a bit, and I don't feel that want where I really want to get on Genshin today. I'm like, I'll get on it when I'm bored. I'll play it. I'll play it every now and then. I have some currency. I can do a pull or two when I go back on. I'm fine. None of the banners really interest me right now. Klee's cute as shit, but I'm not gonna wail. She's not a character that I desperately want. I just want Mona, I want Zhongli, and I want to call it a day.
I think that's fine.
Yeah.
For
I
me,
think that's
obviously,
fine,
me and Gengar have been playing every daily, so I see Gengar playing daily, so I don't know about
Yeah.
his
It
thoughts.
just doesn't have that.
I mean,
effect
oh yeah,
on me.
Gengar. What are your thoughts? Because we never heard you've played Genshin as well. A lot.
I mean, it's like you guys have summed up most of it at this point. Like, I was definitely more invested in the actual like story and game part than the gacha part, and I was kind of disappointed where it's like with like 2 countries worth of content. Like, it feels incomplete at the moment.
Well, then we're gonna get more.
Yeah, we are gonna get more, but it's like, but I want it, and now it's like not having is making me less interested in the game. Yeah.
Fair enough.
Right. As opposed to if
So-
you just had a full game out the gate, you just play the story at your own rate, and you wouldn't have to wait. Like, we're adding an event with more story, which I know that's how gacha game works.
Oh, yeah.
But that's exactly my point. You know.
Exactly.
Yeah.
In terms of gacha, at this point, it's just like had it, okay, just gone for like an hour, okay, done with dailies, okay, I'm done.
Oh, lordy goody.
Has anyone pulled any
Yeah.
5-stars in the game yet?
Yes, me and Matt pulled the same 5-star. We both pulled Chi-Chi.
That's awesome. I've only pulled 2 or 3. I pulled 4 4-stars total, I think.
I will
I got
also
3
say
4-1, 2 officials, and a right. I got 2. I pulled 5 4-stars because I got 2 razors.
I like
yes,
Razor.
Razor.
I like his
Yeah.
voice
Razor.
too. It's
Yeah.
Teru, bro. It's Teru.
I want
in
Razor.
Correctio.
Oh, that's funny.
Yeah, it's Teru. It's Todd.
I will also, one thing I will say is the bosses, at least when you're stuck on them, you can play it with other people, which I do like the co-op. I was very disappointed when I had co-op to a high regard where it's going to be sync save where we both which like Borderlands where you can play with other people and the story would save together and you can progress the story together. You can't really do that in Genshin. That was my biggest issue with it. However, with the bosses and etc., where you have to kind of do for grind materials to ascend your characters, I will say the bosses are pretty enjoyable to play with some other people together. I don't know if Gengar has the same sentiment, but
I would say sentiment there. Like, remember that like one side mission boss where you're like, oh, this is impossible, and then we did it together. It's like that was the easiest thing ever.
Yeah, exactly. I do like where you can help your other friends do complete other quests if they need help. I do like that aspect where you can potentially enjoy the same game with others. It's unlike most gacha games where it's mostly single player and there's really barely any co-op. And PvP most of the time is really not even like another experience with another player. I will say co-op is definitely a lot less limited compared to most gacha games. But if we're talking about an actual game, then yes, it's very limited compared to actual just $60 games. I will say I definitely enjoying to play with other people.
Yeah.
I think that
I
sums
will
up all.
say
Oh, you got something to say?
Oh, go
Forte?
ahead. Go ahead, Sam. You
I'm
got
just
it.
saying we're getting to get thunderstorm here, so I think we should wrap this up relatively quick.
Oh shit.
Yeah, we're getting a big ass thunderstorm here, and I don't want the power to go out halfway through this recording.
Oh, so like my
That's
thing.
fair.
So like my reign's coming up to where you are now.
So, is there any other thoughts we have to say on Genshin? Because this thing's getting loud.
I
I
don't
don't
think
think
I
I've
say-
built the game.
One thing I have to say about it is like,
Go ahead, man.
well, first time playing it, I dislike the fact that I have to grind, like get my adventure rate level up to progress to the story. But to an extent, I do agree why it's like that, because like if this wasn't a gacha game, you'll have some people that'll just like sit through it and beat the game within like one day during a playthrough.
Well, like
Which
if it wasn't a gacha, then they'd have to like expand the game's like length. So like
yeah,
Right.
that too. Then
that
this
would
might
be worked
complain
out.
about like, oh yeah, this game doesn't have enough content.
Yeah, I was gonna say at least with it being a gacha game, you're gonna be constantly getting new content as long as the game lives, which I don't see any chance of it dying with its popularity. So on the one hand, you don't have to worry about getting a full game that will stop at some point, and then DLC. You just get a continuous content over years and years of the lifespan, however long it lasts. So that's
1
kinda nice.
year.
I will
Plus,
say
I love that it's free.
one
Yeah,
thing
it's
I
free.
will say
That's the trade-off.
is one thing I will
Free.
say, sorry to end it off, is like one thing I will say is I'm not really invested in a lot of games that just have a fixed amount of story because it's just going to be over and I don't really have that much investment to play. Hence why I don't really play a lot of Zelda games or I didn't really finish Persona after just looking at the story because there's really nothing to do after you're finished with the
hard.
game. In my opinion.
Ow,
But-
bad take. Very bad take. Worst take of the day.
LOL
But-
XD.
But I think for why I play a lot of gacha games is there's always the new content you will get updated, more story
Yeah.
or etc. Hence, that's why I think I'm definitely more into the gacha aspect because I can always look forward to. There's going to be new updates and there will be more revisions and more like things to look forward to in a game. Hence, why I just don't feel really invested when it's a finished game. I just feel like there's going to be a fixed point.
That's a long ass game though.
Yeah,
Oh,
You can't sit here and tell me you're gonna sit down on your couch and beat that shit in one day.
I showed you hate RPGs. They have an ending, but it's like over 100 hours. God damn it! Shut your mouth.
Right, like if you try to sit here and tell me you're gonna beat Xenoblade Chronicles 2 day one, there's just no way.
I don't
Sorry,
like
I
Xenoblade.
just
The
don't
game has an
play
ending,
games. The only
even though
games I
it
like-
has tons of content. God, I'll smack
y'all don't
you.
understand. Yuto's built different than us. That's
He
that's
is.
the way it goes. He just
Like,
built
I'm sorry. That actually annoys me.
That's my problem with
Fuck
gacha games, is that they're never ending. I like having an end to my games. I only
I
play
will
like a
say
couple
there's
gacha games because I
something
invest in the
really
franchises.
hype about getting those data mines and those leaks in a gacha or getting those
Yeah,
dev
exactly.
letters.
Those are hype, but then
it's
there's no
it's hype.
story.
It's
There's
really
nothing.
hype.
It's the
There's
same
nothing to
gameplay
it.
over and over again. There's nothing.
Yeah. But you guys
That's
know my
the
preference.
thing with
You know
Genshin.
my
That's the difference with
It's
Genshin,
so-
yes. But Genshin, at the end of the day,
Yeah.
is an RPG. No, it's a it's really hard to explain. I'd say it's an RPG that's disguised as a gacha. I don't
It's
consider
a-
it a
it's the
baseline gacha game.
hybrid game.
It is
It's
an
the most hybrid
RPG
game I've
that
ever
sells
seen.
itself as a gacha because someone actually, one of our friends asked in the Discord chat today, why is this game free? It's really simple. It is an RPG that disguises itself as a gacha game because it's hopping onto the bandwagon and the boom of the gacha game medium. It gets the best of both worlds, and which is why
It
I do
does.
not believe that this is going to become the new standard. Like Forte asked earlier, does he believe this will become the new standard?
Oh, I
do
don't
not
believe it either.
all.
I
I
just
don't
wanted to know
believe
your
I do not
opinion.
at all. This is something very,
don't either.
very, very
No.
unique and very much closed into itself because it's not something particular. I'll give the credit to Genshin that, yes, it's nice that there's more content coming, but there's so little content now that even people like Matt, who have played it for like a week, are already beginning to complain.
Like fall off.
Or already
right,
fall off. At that point, like
yeah.
Matt, let's say you finished Danganronpa recently. In a week, you'd finished Danganronpa, but you'd gotten your full experience, and you didn't have to wait 3 or 4 months for like something new, and you loved it. I think you did at least. This,
Oh yeah, for sure.
This you
that's
get
the-
you play for a week. You
I
play
was
for a
really
week,
enjoying it, and then the story just like abruptly
and
cut.
the story abruptly
No, you
ends.
joke. I hate anime because they have endings.
In general, I don't disagree. I don't agree with the argument, but I can understand why someone would think that. I just
get
personally
upset.
don't agree. I don't agree. I think there's enough pros for having a completed story. That's why, in general, when I read anime or read anime, watch anime or read manga or play video games, I like things that are completed. I like being able to judge the whole story then and there.
I agree.
I mean,
completely.
personally,
But I
it's
can
just
see
I
both
like
sides.
games.
Though. I can see both
I
sides.
can see both
with that.
sides, but
Yeah,
I
but
can-
I agree with you.
I agree.
Obviously, that's my turnoff from Genshin that it has that gotcha. I'd rather drop even $120 for just a full product with this kind of graphic storytelling and
same.
characters.
Even-
I would have been living large. I would have loved it. So
or have it be
but
a really
you-
cool thing
you
that
know,
they could have done.
Yeah.
I know it wouldn't make them the best money, but have it be a free-to-play game that if you choose to pay, there's like have it be some like service within the game that you could pay 100 like say $120 to get a completed game experience. It gives you like like one of each character and it's for the time being. Obviously, if they want to increase it with more, have it essentially have these DLC packs where you can just buy the character or buy levels or buy these things all at once for people who want to fucking just spend $120, $150 all at once. Because I know there are people who fucking do that. I know it's not the
That's
best thing from a gacha
mostly
game
most
perspective.
YouTubers.
But if they were to sell this
Yeah.
as an actual game, I think more people would be genuinely interested because I know a friend, Hocus Pocus, we know her. She played it
Yes.
and dropped it in like a day because she hates gacha. And she's like, I just can't get into the gacha aspect. And I'm like, that's fair. That's
That's
fair.
fair.
Yeah.
I would
Oh,
rather
Hocus
this be a completed game that if you want to buy more for, you can buy more. Have it have DLC for like constantly grading things. I'd rather that than just have it be a game that abruptly stops at a certain point and then you need to wait 3 or 4 months for story. Because this is a game that tries to
Yeah.
sell. That's another problem. And a lot of other gacha games, why it works for gacha games, is that they never try to sell you on the story. The story itself is never that deep or meaningful. But this is a game that it wants you to get invested in its story. It wants you to get invested in its world and its characters. But then it randomly cuts
like
you off at a certain point. So you lose motivation to keep playing because you're not going to get more content for 3 or 4 or 5 months.
Yep, that's what kind of irks me because, like, yeah, when I'll be so invested into the story, then next thing you know, I gotta be at a certain adventure rank to even progress.
And that's why
which-
I'm personally taking it really slow. I'm just taking it because I want by the time
That's
I'm finished
fair.
with
I
this,
think-
new content will be out.
I think the very similar game is Dragalia Lost. I think Dragalia Lost is also a very similar thing, but however, the story wasn't as
Exactly.
rooted
The
deeply,
story
I
wasn't
guess.
as good. That's why it's a lot easier and a lot more acceptable. But this is a genuinely good story with cool
Until
characters.
it got a lot better. But yes, I'm trying to look at Dragalia is the only closest thing I'll think of this as in terms of story. I would say.
Right.
I mean, fair enough.
Other than Genshin, my main gacha, of course, is Masters, and they have an original story. And the story is pretty good,
The story's
but
all right, but it's not
obviously
one of those things you're
it's
like,
not
oh
as
my
good as the
god, I want
games.
more. I want
Exactly.
more of this.
It's more about getting these characters because you know who they are from the games, and you get these interactions that you would never get, like Claire interacting with Hilbert or something. That's a random example. I don't know if that's
And like
exactly
to use weekly anime or manga as an example, because I know someone will play the devil's
Yeah,
advocate and say a weekly
exactly.
anime or manga is like it's constantly adding content.
But for
That's-
me
it's weekly.
personally,
just-
for me personally, who played, oh, sorry, you want to go ahead?
I'm just saying, the thing about those is that they were weekly, so I don't lose my motivation within a week. If I have to wait 3 or 4 or 5 months
Right.
for just more content, then that's why I can understand
And their
people.
selling point isn't the story; it's the battling aspect, like co-op and doing events and
Yeah.
other things like that. I feel like Genshin gave me this great story, and it's like find out next time on Dragon Ball Z. No,
Dragon Ball Z.
Is it a week? Do I have to only wait a week for the next episode? No, you have to wait 6 months. Huh?
Yeah, except for imagine Goku's charging the Spirit Bomb for half a year. Oh, fantastic!
Very
I mean,
cool.
to be fair, there was some like remember that like 5 minutes the last half an hour.
Yeah.
The planet will explode in 5 minutes.
But
Of
we're going
course,
to
I'm
end off
mean
with
when
Yuto's
you
point
mean,
here because this storm is getting really
Yeah.
bad. Yuto, say your point, and we're going to wrap it up.
But for me, as personally, who played a lot of gacha games and one-off stories, I will say at least Genshin sells me on the story. Most of the games that were on their own basis and wasn't based off of the anime. That's one thing about gacha games, where if you know the anime and the content, you like the characters, you're already. I think gacha games does infinitely more than just original IPs that have a unique their own story and just characters that you really don't know. I think Genshin compared to that, I think Genshin really hooks me a lot. That's why I was really pleasant.
And we're agreeing with you on that. We're agreeing that the story hooks you in.
Yeah, absolutely.
So for me,
Absolutely.
I don't mind waiting for the story as much. But that's just me personally.
Like, I'm
For
going to
me-
use Matt as an example here, like, just because Matt's the one that's finished all there is to play. He's someone that was super invested, but even he's admitting having to wait so long is making him lose motivation to continue. He'll probably play it when it comes out, but it's like, oh, I'm not as crazy about Genshin anymore. I don't feel that want to log in every day anymore because I don't have more to play. And
Oh no,
Exactly.
yeah, I agree with that. But I think
That
I'm
makes-
just
that
more
makes
forgiving to that aspect.
that's fair enough.
Yeah, and that's fair. That's fair. Yeah, it just depends on the player. And I think Genshin's solid, though. I'll say it's solid. To end it
Overall,
off.
Genshin, very solid game. And
Very
I
solid
think-
game.
I think that's where we're going to be finishing up for today, boys. I do not want this storm
Yes,
to
sir.
destroy everything
Sounds
we
good.
worked for. Any final words? Any final words, boys? Anything?
Thanks for watching.
Thanks for watching. Thanks.
Bye.
Thank
This
you.
is the first and the last.
This is the first and last episode, so enjoy. Hopefully,
That's
I'll
crazy.
need to watch this back, and I'll need to see how loud that bloody storm shit was for you guys. And I'm sorry, I cannot control the weather. I cannot control.
I didn't hear
it.
anything.
I didn't hear
so-
any.
It was
storms, so you
playing
should-
all on the mic, and the mic was peaking whenever the storm was here on the range. So I'll need to check.
Oh.
I had
okay.
a lot of background noise, but none of it came through the mic. Hopefully, did you hear any?
No, I didn't hear much background noise.
Exactly.
So you didn't hear that crack of thunder right now?
I heard it.
I didn't hear anything, but I wasn't really
I heard a
listening.
little. It sounded like a little muffled in the background, but I know that was like a little like some thunder going on.
Then
We stopped
let's hope it
recording,
all
right?
works.
Or we're at the end, right? Or
But we're at the end of the podcast, so again, thank you all. I think
Okay.
we all are thanking you from the bottom of our hearts for listening to us ramble about stupid shit for an hour and 43 minutes. Thank you.
Okay.
Have an amazing day. Hope you continue, because next week we'll be here for a live stream. We'll be live streaming this first episode. YouTube being YouTube, we decided to re-record it and then premiere it. But overall, again, thank you so much for watching. And until next time, have an amazing day, an amazing night, and from the bottom of our hearts, thank you. Peace, guys. Later.
Bye.
Bye.